And we welcome you to Hutchinson Field as a brisk October air breeze over Hutchinson Field in Pittsburg, Kansas. Cold front slowly moving in, but that's not the story today. It's the fact that at the end of October, it comes down to who will win and who will go home. Winner take all, one to finish the regular season. Pittsburg happened to take on the likes of North High School and won that matchup 55-8 in that contest. It was a splendid regular season ultimately for the Dragons as they came out, finished off the season 6-2 overall, an increase from last year's win total only by one, but you were able to see the production and the elevated level of production just on the field itself.
Well, Camo, at the beginning of the year, we thought it was going to be an air-it-out offense, as we thought Chase Curtis was going to take this team by his hands, and it ended up being a equal share. Actually, in fact, it's going to be more of the ground game, and that's exactly what happened most of this year, as the Purple Dragons have done a phenomenal job. But we've seen some ups and downs with this team. It's been quite a roller coaster, but a good roller coaster for a good record that they have. But the record doesn't matter now, Cam. It's playoff time. Everybody's 0-0, and that's how you got to face it.
Well, Shelby, or excuse me, Avi, you and I were discussing this prior to coming on air, and the point we brought up and what I really mentioned to you was, does it really matter when coaches bring up the old proverb of it's a whole new season, everyone is 0-0? Does that actually make an impact on players?
Absolutely. I mean, as a player, when I was back in the day, it affected me because it's as one of the younger kids, you're like, hey, this could be the last time those seniors step out on the field. That's something that will get to you, and that's something you want to do everything you can to make sure these guys walk away with championship before it's the last time they hang up the cleats.
And, you know, we talk about this heralded Pittsburg High School offense, Chase Curtis. We obviously know how sterling he is so far this senior year. Over 800 yards passing, 7 passing TDs, and his work on the ground, over 200 yards rushing and 9 rushing touchdowns. In total, 16 touchdowns coming into this contest, but he's the beneficiary of his offensive line. Bentley Bokout, Dalton Gromer, PJ Mansour, Daniel Eichenberger, guys like that who have stepped up to the plate. It will be imperative that the offensive line is completely focused throughout the duration of these playoffs.
Yeah, and one thing, Cam, that really stood out to me was this offensive line has changed so much since day one to right now. I couldn't even tell you the list of the offensive lines that we've had. It's like an NFL team weekly changing that they have done, but you know, you got to credit them as they have continued to find a way to get the job done and to help out Chase Curtis when he needs to throw the football, or Jelani Long when he needs to run the football. So I would say it was a phenomenal job by Coach Nicholson to make sure that these guys have the confidence to get the job done.
Well, the first round opponent for the Purple Dragons will be the KC Washington High School Wildcats. The Wildcats ended their regular season up until districts with an 0-5 record. Now you may ask, how do they make the playoffs? Well, 2 key wins in districts were enough to propel them into the spot. They were able to down Wyandotte 30-18 and then Harmon 16-8. Those 2 games in district, again, the coaches preach the exact same thing. Our record is 0-0. We have the opportunity to crack the veil and make our way into the playoffs if we are able to perform well at that time. And that's exactly what Scott Strink's club did. They were able to perform at the right time, Avi.
Yeah, and you know, Cam, I would say that the thing that sticks out to me is with these guys is, again, their record doesn't matter. I mean, look what happened last year when Pittsburgh faced a team that had a lower record, and Pittsburgh's not going to lose to them. And what happened? You know, the unthinkable happened if you're a Dragon fan. And so if you're Washington tonight, you got to come in thinking, hey, you know what? We're on the road. So what? We're going to take this thing and we're going to move on to the next playoff round.
And as you alluded to, the club Pittsburgh played last year in the Class 5A state playoffs, exact same location, nearly identical date, the Blue Valley Southwest club that came in with just 1 win on the season. They would prevail over the Dragons in that contest, 26-16. Avi, this Tom Nicholson-led crew has had a year to let this soak in, and it's time to avenge last year's loss.
Well, I think they did that with the first week of the season by beating the defending state champs in Harrisonville, and so these guys are ready to go. I think one of the main things for Coach Nicholson is to play and win all 4 quarters, and if they do that, they're going to walk away with this victory and potentially another home game next week.
Well, we will step aside here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7, and bring you back an interview with Pittsburg High School head football coach Tom Nicholson, as well as the Wildcats head football coach Scott Strink. Don't go anywhere. Dragons, Wildcats, ready to duke it out in the first round of the Class 5A state playoffs here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
It's game time all across the 4 states.
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust? They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Does your current checking account pay you up to $15 per month? With Common Sense Checking at University Bank, you can earn up to $15 per statement cycle, 10 cents for each swipe after the first 15 swipes. Qualifying is so easy. Simply have one direct deposit or auto payment plus 15 debit card purchases each statement cycle and a $100 opening deposit. Stop by the bank for more information about our Common Sense Checking. Then swipe and save. It's convenience that pays at University Bank. Branch GMB, member FDIC.
Now accepting new clients. At the Pet Care and Surgery Center, Dr. James Clark believes all of our pets deserve kind, humane, and loving treatment. From a simple checkup or rabies vaccination to performing major surgery. Plus, Dr. Clark has boarding, grooming, nutrition, and wellness checkups. Dr. James Clark can provide that loving member of your family with the treatment they deserve. Call 620-308-6454 to set up an appointment or simply visit petcarecenter.org. Pet Care and Surgery, making a difference.
Now back to Dragon football.
Welcome back to Pittsburg, Kansas, here on ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters. We are joined by Pittsburg High School head football coach Tom Nicholson. Coach, regular season ended last week, a win versus North High School. Already 6 wins on the year, trumping last year. What have you seen as the greatest improvement from 2016 to 2017 in your team?
Well, we returned a lot of kids who had substantial playing time off last year's squad, particularly on the offensive side. I think our offensive balance is much improved this year. I think our overall team speed has improved this year, but probably more than anything, what we've talked about all year long is just the leadership and the focus that this squad has, due to having 20 seniors and 20 guys who are good quality leaders and selfless leaders. So I think that's just filtered throughout the rest of the team and has really elevated everybody's play and helped kept everybody fresh and focused all season.
Coach, you probably already have an idea of who you want on that second unit coming out after your first string guys get a little bit tired and you want to supplant some guys in. But North High School revealed some good future young talent that you guys have. Can you touch on that?
Yeah. Everybody who got on the bus got to play substantial amount of snaps. And, we've got a lot of young kids. Our sophomore class is a pretty talented class. We've got some linemen and some skill guys coming up. They mix in pretty well. I think Sam Roark was probably a sophomore that turned a lot of people's heads. He hadn't had a whole lot of playing time, but he got to play the majority of the defensive snaps and wound up with 12 tackles in about 2.5 quarters. Sam's a really good football player. his older brother Ty has obviously been our backup quarterback till he got injured. But Sam's going to be a really good one for us. Shea Munkin's had substantial playing time all year long. We've got a lot of sophomores that are just waiting their turn. They're set behind seniors, and they're learning from them, and they're being patient. But when they get their chances, they're doing all they can to take advantage of them.
Coach, I know you mentioned one aspect of your team that's really improved from last year to this year is the balanced offensive assault, and it starts with your offensive line. We've discussed it for multiple weeks. Can you talk about how large they've been this season? But in addition, you also mentioned a few weeks ago, Reese Willis, one of your starting interior guards, is out for the season. Can you discuss how detrimental that will be heading into the playoffs?
Well, we're Pittsburg High, and as long as we are, we're going to be a running team. Now, this year we have been much more balanced, but a lot of our passing comes off of our run game, whether it be play action pass or whether it be an RPO, a run pass option. Everything we do is based around the offensive line. We only put in as much as they can handle. The skill positions have the easier jobs. Running backs just got to run to the holes and read some blocks, and that's pretty easy. Wideouts just got to catch it. Chase has a lot on his plate, but as far as the nuts and bolts of our offense, it all comes down to the guys with their hands on the ground. And we were fortunate to return 2 or 3 starters off last year, but also guys who maybe weren't starters but had some snaps. And our offense goes as they go. And what they've allowed us to do is really expand and even develop and bring in some new schemes that we hadn't run in the past. So it's our offense is based around those guys.
And Coach,
really smart offensive line.
Hello. I think I'm losing you.
Okay.
Oh, that's better.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool. There we go. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Tilted my head to the left there. So
that's good. All right, let's start 2-1. Coach, and you look at your offensive line, continuing on the topic, they've played some pretty powerful opponents. You talk about Webb City in the COC, Carl Junction, even Fort Scott in the SEK. Can you talk about how that experience has been valuable to your club?
Well, they have. It seems like every week in the scouting reports, we put down their best defensive players are on their D-line, and a lot of times they're playing D-tackles. And that started with game 1 against Harrisonville and has gone all the way through. Even Wichita North last week, their best players were in the middle of their defensive line. So, our guys, they give us a chance. They got a big challenge each and every week. We're not big on our offensive line, but they're quick and they're pretty strong for their size. But probably their best attribute is their brains and their intelligence. They're smart kids and they're athletically pretty intelligent, and they do a great job of communicating with each other.
Currently talking with Pittsburg High School head football coach Tom Nicholson. Coach, you mentioned before your offensive skill players are beneficiaries of your offensive line. We haven't really touched too much on those skill players this year, more specifically your wide receivers. We've talked about Dylan White here and there, but Zachary, Sutton, Landon, Conrad, guys who have really come in and made an impact, especially blocking at the second level. Can you talk about them?
Yeah, Dylan has kind of been our big play guy because he does have some pretty special speed, but Drew Rolfs and Landon Conrad and Zach Sutton, Patrick Sullivan, those guys have come in and they've done a nice job. Whether they're getting balls thrown to them or not, our wideouts don't always block the corner or block the same guy. We're reading different people. We're pitching off different people. Sometimes they got to come at a pretty drastic angle to try to pin inside linebackers. They've just done a good job of doing whatever it takes to get their blocks done. And then when they get their opportunities in the passing game, then they've made the most of them. But our wideouts have always been and will always be blockers first. And if they're able to do that, then they get the rewards and get some balls thrown to them.
Coach, I don't want to bring up any repressed memories, but this was about the exact same time last year that Blue Valley Southwest happened to end your guys' season. You saw some great seniors go. What can your guys take from last season in the playoffs and apply to this year?
Well, in playoffs, next game you lose is you're done. And we didn't play a terrible game. Everybody saw Blue Valley Southwest record and thought, well, this is a cakewalk. Well, that was a heck of a team. They took Mill Valley into the middle of the fourth quarter before Mill Valley put that game away, and they were state champs. We need to play well. You need to be playing your absolute best football right now. No opponent is going to go down easy. Everybody's in the same boat. Putting the nail in the coffin is going to be tough any week in the playoffs because every team is fighting and scrapping for their football future, and nobody wants to go home early. So it's just a matter of us taking care of business. Every week we approach the same way. The game isn't about who we're playing; it's about us. We need to have our best week of preparation, and we need to play our best this week, and that's kind of been our mantra all year long, and that's what I expect our kids to do this week.
Coach, first round of the playoffs, you have Washington High School, the Wildcats, 2-6 on the season. It's kind of like Blue Valley Southwest, where they play some of those KCK schools, and they have probably more talent than what many are expecting. They have some quality wins as well. They won 2 out of the 3 in their districts, Wyandotte and Harmon, winning those combined games, but the total of 46-26. Coach, what can you say about them?
Well, they do have some athletes. Their quarterback and their tailback, they'll rotate those guys around. They'll direct snap to them. They are very good athletes, and if the hole isn't there initially, they're going to bounce it to the edge and just keep working back and forth until they find an opening to run through. So they do have some very, very quick, very athletic offensive skill positions, and then nice size along their O-line. And on defense, they're going to load the box with 7 to 8 bodies and try to shut our run game down. They could play straight man in the secondary, so we need to take advantage of that and hopefully be able to hit some big plays on them.
Once again, that was the Pittsburg High School head football coach, Tom Nicholson. When we return to Pittsburg, Kansas, a sit-down conversation with Washington High School head football coach, Scott Strang. You're listening to the home of Purple Dragon Athletics on ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters.
Customer first, safety always. It's not just a tagline, it's the Watco way. By focusing on safety, each and every day they build a future by protecting their customers, team members, community, and the environment. When Watco moves commodities by rail, river, and road, at home or across North America and Australia, their priority is to ensure that they deliver their loads safely and on time. Watco wishes all area teams a safe and successful season.
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust? They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
I had no idea you did that.
That's what I said when I learned CDL does more than just electrical work. Like plumbing, heat and air, security cameras and alarms, generators, solar panels, even signs for my business. CDL really is one company that has a solution for about everything in my home and business. Learn more at cdlsolution.com.
Paynes Incorporated in Frontenac is the driveline specialist. Paynes handles all driveline repairs for cars, trucks, four-wheel drive vehicles, and farm equipment. Paynes can also handle any general machine work and offers 24-hour wrecker service. Call Paynes anytime, 231-3170. Paynes Incorporated is located at the intersection of West McKay and Highway 69 Frontenac Junction. Paynes Incorporated in Frontenac is the driveline specialist.
Now, back to Dragon Football.
Hello, we welcome you back to the Coach's Corner on ESPN 100.7. Cam Molina joined by Washington High School head football coach Scott Strang. Coach, last time out, districts were among you. You went 2-3 during that time. Can you talk about how districts is preparing your guys for the playoffs?
We had our conference schedule at the end of the year. We were able to reel off a couple wins, get a little bit of confidence, had a tough one at the end. But we're just a young team. They grew a lot. In the second half of the season, had a little bit of success. But you can pair as much as you want during districts, but once playoffs comes around, everyone's 0-0. It's a new season. So.
And have you been able to instill that in your guys, just the fact that, hey, it is a brand new season, let's not reflect on what we did throughout the continuation of the regular season?
It's something we've been harping on them all week, and I think they've got the message. It's win or go home. They understand that for sure.
And, Coach, when you look at districts, your offense really seemed to click at least through the first 2 games. Wyandotte, your team was able to score 30 points, and then against Harmon, 16 points. Can you give me a preview as to what your offense looks like?
It's still growing. Guys are just starting to get a little bit more comfortable with what we're doing. This is our first year as a staff, but, we've been able to move Keyshawn around. He's done a good job for us. Skylar's starting to get more comfortable learning the offense. The line's starting
And, Coach, you talk about your staff and how it's relatively young. Can you discuss how you guys have been able to grow as a unit throughout this season?
I mean, we're reevaluating every week. We're learning something new every week, including me as the head coach. We're talking like, oh, we need to do this different, or we need to get better at this. I mean, it's just we're learning something new every day. Just trying to get better every day.
And, Coach, keeping with that idea of youth and some of the green gills around your team, the fact that you have several freshmen and sophomore, can you discuss how some of your upperclassmen have been able to tutor those young men and how they've been able to pick up on some of the nuances of the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough for them because they've had, I think, gone through 5 head coaches in 4 years. I'm just proud of them. They've done a good job. They've stuck through it. They're practiced every day, sticking with the Washington program because they have not had a lot of success. And they've done a great job. Sticking through the season, fighting. I think those younger guys see it, and I think those younger guys are excited about the future and what's to come. And they've been in practice just trying to get us better. I mean, it's been a tough situation for those upperclassmen. I was glad we were able to get a few wins for them at the end of the year.
And, Coach, when I talk to new coming head coaches, one thing they really want to establish is a culture or an identity at their high school. What is your identity? What are you trying to preach to your kids?
I mean, right now it's, show up every day, take care of business in the off season in the classroom, and get to college. It's just baby steps. A lot of these kids, they're still learning that, coming to practice every day. I think that was our main thing, and we've had our 2 deep here every day this season, which I'm proud of those guys for that. And like I said, next is doing the right thing in the classroom. I mean, we're trying to tell them, don't just get by with B's and C's at Washington. We're trying to tell them get straight A's to get to the next level.
And, Coach, I believe that's also indicative of the level of competition you play to, just instilling in your guys, hey, whatever adversity there is, we can overcome it. And that quite apparent. KCK, several great teams you guys played this year, Schlegel being one of them, Silver Lake, 2 teams that maybe have 1 or 2 losses on the season. Can you discuss how your team have been able to overcome those obstacles against higher-ranked opponents or teams that have been together longer than you guys have?
Yeah, it's just, that's just a credit to the kids. I mean, we had a gauntlet. I mean, when I got this job and went up the step of the schedule, we knew it was going to be tough up front, and we hoped the kids would stick with it, and they have. They responded well. That's just testament to them. I mean, we can tell them as much as we want, but they went through that earlier in the year, and testament, credit to them. They stuck with it and reeled up a couple victories at the end, and going through injuries too. And they responded well because it was tough up front.
Coach, what do you see from this Pittsburg high school team?
They run the ball really well. They're great up front. They run a lot of plays, a lot more plays than most high schools, and run a lot of formations. Their quarterback runs the option well, and at defense they run to the football. Good athletes. I mean, it's a very, very good Pittsburg team. But very impressed with them. They seem to be well coached.
Coach, what's one key you were trying to instill in your team heading into the matchup against the Purple Dragons?
We need to have 11 hats to football on defense, and we need to stop the run we need to stop the run on defense, 11 hats to football, and on offense, we just need to control the ball and execute.
Once again, that was the Washington High School head football coach, Scott Strink. When we return you to ESPN 100.7, more coaches on the Coach's Corner.
Now accepting new clients. At the Pet Care and Surgery Center, Dr. James Clark believes all of our pets deserve kind, humane, and loving treatment. From a simple checkup or rabies vaccination to performing major surgery. Plus, Dr. Clark has boarding, grooming, nutrition, and wellness checkups. Dr. James Clark can provide that loving member of your family with the treatment they deserve. Call 620-308-6454 to set up an appointment or simply visit petcarecenter.org. Pet Care and Surgery, making a difference.
Hi, this is Dr. Brent Cousins with SEK Urgent Care. When you're sick, when you're injured, or when you just don't feel like yourself, SCK Urgent Care is here for you. Let our skilled providers treat your non-life-threatening illness or injury at a fraction of the time and cost of an ER visit. Located at the corner of Centennial and Broadway in the Meadowbrook Commons. Open 7 days a week for your convenience. SCK Urgent Care, where your family and time matter. Find us fast on names and numbers.
Now back to Dragon football.
Blankets and cold hands completely filling the inside of Hutchinson Field as the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons, draped in their purple-cladded uniforms, march out onto the field and are welcomed with cheers and praise for the opening round of the Kansas State High School Activity Association Class 5A playoffs. First round of action as the Purple Dragons welcome in Scott Strank and the Washington High School Wildcats. Alongside Avi Sharma with Shelby White back at our KSHQ studio, I'm Cam Molina. Fireworks currently propagating through the sky right now, shooting off in dazzling colors of gold and purple. The Purple Dragons look to have potentially a game where they avenge last year's playoff loss against Blue Valley Southwest. Avi, what are some keys in this matchup?
Well, key number one, Cam, play every down and play every quarter like it's your last, because it could be. You want to legitimately give it everything you have for not only yourself but those seniors out there, because it's something else. Playoff atmosphere is a whole nother level.
And this Purple Dragon team enters the contest with a 6-2 record. Their lone 2 losses to Missouri teams in both Webb City and Carl Junction. Against the Bulldogs, that was at home. Pittsburg High's offense, probably one of the better offensive showings we've seen from a Purple Dragon team in the last couple of years, probably since Alex Barnes attended Pittsburg High School. He's now with the K-State Wildcats and already making...
Since he is just absolutely phenomenal. But you're right, this offense has definitely surprised me, caught me off guard. But it's actually been a come-together offense, if you will, because Chase Curtis went down, their star player, their captain. And so what do you have to do when your starting quarterback goes down? You have to change things up. You got to ground and pound even harder, and that's what they did. And then Chase comes back, and guess what, Cam? They're still doing that. So this offense has changed. And not only that, the offensive line, like we mentioned during the pregame, is that they haven't had the same offensive line every week. It's rare.
And it's a melting pot at center field. Officials as well as camera crews and the players, more specifically the team captains for both sides, awaiting the coin toss. And for this Scott Strank-led Wildcats team, they have a very unique offense led by Skylar Wallace, the quarterback. They run an offset offensive line formation. So what I mean by that is you have your center in your typical position. They have an offensive guard and then 2 tackles to whatever the strong side is or the weak side is. And then they compensate with a tight end on either side or on one side. So it's a very unique offense run by Coach Strank, who comes from Benedictine College, and he served as a graduate assistant there. So some fresh ideas being pumped into this Wildcat team.
I don't know how I feel about that offense yet, Cameron. I guess I'm going to have to wait to see what it's going to be. But regardless, I get to see that immediately, as Washington's going to get the football right off the bat. So this is going to be exciting. I'm ready for it. Playoff football. Football is here, my friend.
And I was surprised. I know you seem somewhat baffled by the offense that Coach Strank runs, but when I was looking at the sheet he sent me for the starting lineups, he had everything abbreviated. So as you know, casually QB, quarterback, RB, running back. In this case, he had like BB and IT and QG, and I had to go online and make sure that my verbiage was correct. So this is a very unique offense, the likes of which Pittsburgh has not seen this season, but they have faced some tough wishbone offenses, some wing T offenses, and some ground games that have been very strong. So Pittsburgh is familiar with that. It will be imperative for the defensive line to step up in this contest.
Yeah, and that's the thing is the good thing is you've seen something like this, Cam, so you're not going in completely blind, and then not only but watching tape to help you out. So, I mean, it's going to be different for this Dragon defense, but, man, I tell you, they've been good so much all year long. I think the defense is going to be prepared for it no matter what comes at them.
2 seniors back to return for the Wildcats, and Keyshawn King and Jalen Yates. Nathan Neef ready to kick the football off with his dandelion yellow cleats. He takes 3 steps back and then 4 steps to his left. Races his right arm and his left arm as well. Special teams line for the Purple Dragons, okay, and then a shallow kick goes end over end to begin the Class 5A state playoffs from Pittsburg, Kansas.
So here we go, Cam. This offense, what was it called again?
I don't know exactly how to describe it. I'm guessing it's a variant of a wing T, but the offset offensive line is probably going to be the most noticeable proponent in this contest.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to it. Ready to see what the capabilities of this offense has. I mean, again, I've never heard of anything like this. So.
Well, you and I will probably both stumble through these first couple of plays, but coming out of the huddle is the quarterback in his junior year in Skylar Wallace. Wallace will line up with a strong right formation, 4 wide receiver set, 2 on each side. Wallace will take the snap and will dive right up the middle and finds a gap in between the right guard and the center as he bullies his way forward from the 20 to shy the 25-yard line at the 24 for a scamper of 4 yards.
Well, that offense looked normal to me right there on a quarterback draw, and looks like Wallace is down. So the very first play, and he is down. That is not a good sign.
And from our perspective, we believe it's Wallace. You say with certainty that it is Wallace.
Well, he has the pink shooting sleeve, if you will, on his right arm, and his left arm he has a black sleeve. So I figured he was the one, but I haven't seen a quarterback get up or anything, so I believe it was him.
No, you are correct. I just wanted to be hesitant there. But disheartening to see that in the opening play of the playoffs. We will take a 30-second break to ensure that Wallace is okay. We'll be back with your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
Accidents happen. That's why they're called accidents. And if you're involved in an accident, it becomes an instant worry, including can your car be repaired properly and in a timely manner. Enter Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing, a company that exemplifies quality work done in a timely manner. Best of all, Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing offers direct billing to most insurance companies. So, if you're in an accident, there's one name to remember: Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing. Their name says it all. Ask about their 24-hour towing service, too. Call 232-9400. Find the fast in names and numbers.
Now back to Dragon football.
A disconcerting sight on Hutchinson Field in Pittsburg, Kansas, to begin the Kansas State High School Activities Association Class 5 playoffs for football, and Skylar Wallace of the Washington Wildcats has yet to get off the turf as the medical team for both sides is currently attending to him. Everyone on a knee on the field currently. Coach Nicholson huddled up with some of his players, trying to give them a pep talk and also keep them warm before heading back out onto the field. But the entire Wildcat huddle is stationed just outside of the 20-yard line, looking west. In the Purple Dragons huddle, situated more at the 35-yard line on their sideline. And Avi, first play of the game, you do not expect your starting quarterback to go down.
Yeah, Cam, this is devastating. I mean, regardless whatever game you're calling for. I mean, you had to call it yourself a couple weeks back when Chase Curtis went down, but this is just a sad sight to see with Skylar Wallace. I mean, I'm looking at your 2-depth chart right now, and we don't have a backup quarterback on there. Obviously, there will be a backup quarterback. Alex Howard is a junior. So we might see him, but we don't know what the injury is. That's the unfortunate part. We just see that he's down, and several people around them making sure he's okay. And actually, I do believe that is Coach Nicholson out there as well to make sure that he is okay.
Well, he is being tended to by a litany of medical professionals, one of which has a bright neon yellow and orange backpack with some medical supplies in it. He is still on the turf. We have seen movement from him, so at least that's a positive sign. But Avi, losing, again, your starting quarterback first play, you typically don't plan around this, but that's why the second team reps are so beneficial, as now trainers are moving out of the way of Wallace's face and are trying to help him sit up.
He did sit up. I thought he was going to get up all at once, but regardless, though, that's automatically a positive sign right there. Yeah, that's the thing, Camo. It's definitely something you don't want to see, and this is obviously something hard to plan for. I mean, you always want to have your second quarterback, second team ready, next man up, like they say, but this is just a tough thing to do with only 13 seconds on the clock.
And it's becoming far more and more prominent that a quarterback is the lifeblood of a team. It is he or she, not going to be discriminated based off whatever level you play at, but he or she is the person who was supposed to be your leader, supposed to know the playbook, is heralded as someone who can lead a squad indiscriminately. And to see your starter go out like that is tough, especially for this offense that in their losses scored a combined 72 points, and that's with 6 losses on the season. That's only 12 points per contest. This defense has forfeited 43 points per game in the contests they've lost. So with an offense that was most likely primed to slow down the Dragons, keep the football out of their hands, it's tough.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that, it's so hard to see this, and Coach Nicholson walking away now, going to go talk to his players to, get them all rattied up and ready to go. But again, Wallace now actually going back down as he stood up, or he sat up, now he's back down. So this could be an even more serious injury than we thought. But yeah, Camo, it's just so tough. The quarterback position is, regardless, no matter what, it's your captain on the field. It's your guy, or it's your player that you must rely on to, keep your offense going, as they're actually going to start the ambulance, so they might have to get him off of here. Tragic sight to see again, but like you mentioned, the quarterback position is so key, so vital, and we've seen it in every level from high school, collegiate, NFL. If your starting quarterback goes down, it takes a toll on the rest of your team.
Well, both teams clearing the field, being ousted towards their respective sideline. There was, I believe, the umpire who made his way over to the EMS personnel towards the south side of the field, drew them over with a beckoning hand wave and said, hey, we need to bring the ambulance out onto the field. The ambulance has not been started yet, but it may make its way out onto the field. I've only seen this once, and it was back in 2014 when the Parsons Vikings played this exact same team here at Hutchinson Field. There were 2 Vikings that went out, and it was an absolutely gut-wrenching sight. So we may see a gurney or an apparatus of sort come out onto the field to assist Wallace off. We will take a 1-minute break and bring you back an update of Skylar Wallace, the Wildcats starting quarterback, who has been down for a good 2-3 minutes now. You're listening to your home of Purple Dragon Athletics on ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters.
Welcome to orthopedic specialist.
Headquartered in Richmond, Kansas, QSI Quality Structures Incorporated specializes in designing and building complete post-frame buildings. We provide structures built to withstand a 30-pound ground snow load and a 90-mile-per-hour wind shear built to the most stringent codes. Whether you need a garage, agricultural building, commercial facility, or custom-built design, we're your one-stop shop for post-frame buildings. QSI. Everything we do is right on cue.
Very personalized care, but with state-of-the-art orthopedic techniques, equipment, and a facility only expected to be found in major cities. Orthopedic specialist of the 4 states, bringing personalized world-class orthopedic care to the 4-state area.
Thank you, Ortho 4 States, for fixing my spine and letting me cheer again.
Now back to Dragon Football.
Very welcome back out onto Hutchinson Field alongside Avi Sharma with Shelby White back at our KSHQ studios. I'm Cam Molina. First play of action, Avi, you and I were extremely excited, ecstatic coming into this matchup. And then first play for the Wildcats, Skylar Wallace, the starting quarterback for this club. The junior bounced up the middle of the field, was hit, toppled to the ground. And we've seen movement from him since, but there have been several medical personnel out attending to him. It's been about 5 minutes since he's been initially injured, and the EMS personnel who were just on the field are making their way back to the ambulance, and we could see the gurney being pulled out. So again, a sight that is gut-wrenching, and it brings you in sorrow just seeing that a young man on the field who has aspirations to continue to play at potentially a higher level. Just, he's still a junior. He has time to play at the high school level, and a playoff opportunity to advance and maybe even build up your notoriety is down on the field, and maybe his season ends here.
Yeah, and that's just the hard thing to see. I mean, as it's just so tough. I don't know. I've actually had a friend that has been in this predicament. He was actually able to play later on in the season, thankfully, but it's just a tough sight to see. Not only you're not looking at it as a Pittsburgh fan, as a Wildcat fan, you're looking at this as a football fan in general, and just the safety and looking after players. Just a horrible sight to see. You know, you see the guys on the sidelines. They're trying to warm up, but they just know that this is big. I mean, it's hard to overcome this right now, Cam.
And as you mentioned, players attempting to stay warm. A lot of Wildcats players on their feet at about the 35-yard line towards the south side of the field near the visitors' press box, doing kinetic stretches and attempting to keep the blood circulating. The Purple Dragons draped now in their heavy purple coats in front of several dozen fans, including the student section that is attempting to stay warm, hands in their pockets, in their coat pockets too. Score 0-0, 11:47 left in the first quarter of action. Skylar Wallace still down. He is about to be transferred on to the gurney, and we will take another 1-minute spot. You're listening to your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7, back in 1 minute.
Marone's Food Service Incorporated.
It's a feeling you get the moment you step on campus.
It's the knowledge that you become part of something more.
We're a family of crimson and gold.
Every day we challenge ourselves to achieve more.
The reason why we're here is to make a difference.
Everybody wants to stand out.
Without standing apart.
You belong.
At Pittsburg State University.
Crawcan Telephone Cooperative has been serving Girard in southeast Kansas for 65 years. In 1952, we helped our members connect with each other using telephone lines. Today, we connect our members with the entire world using fiber optics. While the technology has changed, our commitment to deliver it to our members has not. Check us out on the web at ckt.net.
Now back to Dragon football.
Welcome you back to Hutchinson Field in Pittsburg, Kansas for the beginning of the Kansas State High School Activities Association Class 5A playoffs. Pittsburg High Purple Dragons and the KC Washington High School Wildcats initially started as what was going to be a fun and festive evening has now turned into more of a downtrodden scene as Skylar Wallace, the junior quarterback for Scott Strink, has been down for, I would say, close to 10 minutes at this rate with an undisclosed and unknown injury. But he is being moved to a gurney where EMS officials and personnel are trying to put him on top. And the Crawford County EMS vehicle has now made its way just to the outside on the south side of the field track and will potentially back up onto the field slightly to load him up and take him to whatever medical facility he needs to attend. But again, we've already talked about it, a disheartening sight. I know that it may not be what listeners want to hear at this point. They want to hear something about a game, more interesting statistic, but this is more so for Wallace's parents at this rate, or family members, whoever happens to be listening. It seems that there is movement on the field. There are several dozen medical personnel, or not several dozen, excuse me, about half a dozen medical personnel tending to him right now, EMS members as well as trainers from both sides, that they are trying to gingerly load him onto the gurney and then wheel him over to the ambulance towards the southeast side of the stadium. Avi, to quickly shift thoughts in this scenario, we've talked about Wallace, but let's review Pittsburg High School season. They started off the beginning of the year taking on Harrisonville, the reigning Class 4 state champs of Missouri. Harrisonville, good amount of turnover from their roster in 2016. 2017 was still supposed to be a very profitable, wealthy year, but the Purple Dragons absolutely stymied the club and illustrated how potent their offense is, scoring 35 points.
Yeah, they looked phenomenal that first game, Cam, and Chase Curtis was a phenomenal quarterback that game as he balled out, and that's what really defined this team right at the beginning is that, you know, this last season didn't matter. This was the season that matters, and they're working on that. But, you know, we talk about the ups that this Dragon team had. They also had some downs, you know. They traveled to Webb City. It was a rough environment, a tough team to play. They played the best they could, I would say, the first half. I mean, they scored first, and then Webb City, just a great team that they are, they pulled away with that one.
Well, let's give a preview for the upcoming week as well. If the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons are able to prevail over this Wildcat club, they will play the winner of KC Sumner Academy and KC Turner, I beg your pardon, in the second round of action. The Purple Dragons still waiting on Skylar Wallace to be attended to right now. And continuing, segueing back into what we were initially discussing about the synopsis of the season for the Purple Dragons. They played the Chinook Blue Comets, won that match single-handedly. And then probably the most imposing force this team's played this season, the Webb City Cardinals. Cardinals won in that matchup, but the Dragons gained great experience.
Yeah, and and I think Coach Nicholson said that best, is that this team learned very well how tough it is to play on places like that, and how, regardless if whether you win or lose, there's always somewhere that you can improve on. And they've done that very, very much so, as now Wallace is now getting attended to and will be heading towards the ambulance. A good sign for something there, Camo, as they got him off, and you got to love the respect as everybody in the stands cheering, clapping, making sure that he's okay. Like we mentioned, safety first before anything else. But yes, this Dragon team, they've overcome some quite challenges, and they've also had to face some quite challenges, but they've done a good job to get to the point where they are right now.
So it's about 13 minutes since Wallace's injury as he's being loaded into the back of the EMS. Even if you are not a religious individual and you're not asked to bring this up when you are broadcasting, still say a prayer. If you are not a devout follower at any means, just go ahead and send your thoughts out to Wallace, and hopefully he is okay, not so much for the duration of this football season, but next football season, at least judging from our observation by how long he was down and the fact that he was writhing in pain on the turf. It just makes you think more about the ones you love.
Absolutely. A tough thing to see, but good to see Wallace getting treated okay, and now he will be taken to a good facility to get him checked out, taken care of. And now we will get to see the players now come back out on the field. Each team now has 4 minutes to warm up, and then once that 4 minutes is up, Cam, we're going to go right back into it, the action.
Well, we'll keep it here on ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters. A quick reset. Score is still 0-0. 11:47 remaining in the first quarter of action. And the Purple Dragons taking on the KC Washington High School Wildcats in the first round at the Kansas State High School Activities Association Class 5A state playoffs. The Purple Dragons, what an uphill climb, taking on 3 different Missouri schools. We've already talked about Harrisonville. We mentioned the likes of Webb City. But in addition, Pittsburgh played some very powerful SEK schools, a league they were originally committed to and a part of. They took on Fort Scott, and that was a nail-biter through the first quarter of action. The Dragons ultimately won in that matchup, and again, they pushed the envelope, and they had that killer instinct in that contest.
Yeah, and that was a rough game at first for PHS. If I remember correctly, that was their first or second road game of the season, and so it was a rough one for them, but they overcame the challenges. They were actually trailing a little bit before halftime, and then they figured some stuff out, and then they actually looked like the Pittsburgh Dragon team that we saw in the first couple of weeks of the season. And so being on that road, being away from Hutch Field and all this crowd of theirs that they have, it's a difference maker. It has made its toll, but they did everything they could, and they got that victory.
Well, Pittsburgh also played the likes of some Wichita or West Kansas-based schools, I should really say. A Wichita school being Wichita North. Last week, it was a 55-8 victory. Prior to that, about a 30-minute drive from Wichita, Andover Central. Purple Dragons down the Jaguars in that contest. And after which, Carl Junction, a very potent COC team. Pittsburgh had a rough time with them last year. The result was still the same, but they were without Chase Curtis.
Yeah, not having your starting quarterback against one of the best teams in Missouri was very challenging for this Dragon team. They got... I would say it was for sure a learning lesson again. Coach Nicholson would say as well. They had some hard times, but they scored first, Cam. Their offense was going at first. The momentum was going. Everybody was mind blown, and then all of a sudden, CJ just did what they do best, and that's ground and pound, and they took that one away. But PHS, they've done such a great job. And Andover Central, the game that you went to, Chase Curtis went down. That game itself was a tough one to overcome and get that victory.
Well, and it also illustrated the fact that the defense can commandeer a game, and it's not just the offense that rights the ship, as both teams are breaking away from the end zone, which at least the Purple Dragons are, as the Wildcats are making their way from the west side of the stadium stretching towards the east side of the stadium stretching, excuse me, the north side to south side, I beg your pardon. And the Purple Dragons and the Wildcats are ready to reconvene and execute the second play of this game, and we are nearly 20 minutes, past 20 minutes into this contest. Again, to recap, Skylar Wallace goes down with an injury. Very first play of the game, 13 seconds in, and has to be carted off of the field. Keep him in your prayers. Make sure that he's okay. And the Wallace family, make sure your son's all right. 11:47 remaining in the first quarter of action. The Purple Dragons defense makes their way out onto the field. The Wildcats offense, we are unable to diagnose who the quarterback will be at this point, but considering I think this is a variant of a wing tee offense, although we saw a spread set at first, we'll probably see maybe a halfback step into that role, or the quarterback you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see what they do. It's going to be tough for them, but they got to overcome it. As I believe that's Keyshawn King that is now the quarterback, so now a senior stepping up and doing the role for the Wildcats.
Strong left formation. Up back on the play is Corey Butler. One receiver on the near side of the field motioning over from right to left. Keeping it himself is King. King tries to skitter past the 24-yard line. He does. Moves past the 25, but then he is ushered back by a combination of Chase Johnson as well as Jarek Butcher, two emotional leaders for this Pittsburg High team.
Yeah, this defense is just so stout when it comes to the running game. And Cam, last week they played the Wichita North team, and they saw the quarterback draws, the quarterback sweeps non-stop last week, so this is just a review for them now.
So an offense that plays into the Purple Dragons' hand, and again, it was a good appetizer against the Redskins to prepare them for this entree in the playoff. Motioning over from far side, the near side on the play, it was Emmanuel Hooks. Hooks will not take the football. Instead, it will be a handoff, and now the ball comes loose at the end of the play from the motioning receiver who came from left to right. The ball was loose, and the Purple Dragons recover it. It will be Dragon football inside of the 15-yard line, excuse me, inside the 20-yard line of the Wildcats.
Well, that's a game changer right off the bat, and now PHS with the ball inside the red zone automatically. Be ready to see the ground and pound dominate already, Cam.
So from the 19-yard line of the Wildcats, an immediate handoff up the middle, I believe is to Brandis Evans, as he's brandished by several different Wildcats and stuck in the mud at the original line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
If you notice, it takes three guys to take down Evans. Luckily, they got the three guys there. But now PHS, like I said, they're knocking on the door. They're looking good early. The defense causing problems for offenses all year long. They do it again.
Shotgun formation for Chase Curtis and company. Dylan Jordan in on the play. He will motion over from far side to near side. Curtis will keep it himself on a bootleg, and he's chased out of bounds. Escorted for a 2-yard loss on the play as Jalen Yates was thinking sack.
Yeah, and that looked like it was going to be a jet sweep. It was just too high of a snap, and so then Curtis had to do something out of nothing, and he tried running it to the outside. Obviously didn't want to take a hit, so he just stepped out of bounds, took the loss. Now 3rd and 12.
A loss of 4 on the run, which will bring up a 3rd down and 12, as you said, Avi. A potential passing situation, though the Dragons are inclined to run the football in these particular circumstances. 3 wide receivers set, all near side of the field. Curtis will roll towards the near side of the field. He checks down. He finds the likes of Brett Wiemers. Wiemers reels it in. He's across the 10-5 and reaches for the pylon, and he is in for a Purple Dragon touchdown. A 21-yard strike from the Purple Dragon. Just took 3 plays.
Well, I'm not sure if it was blown coverage or if it was just a wrong zone coverage, but he was wide open. I mean, Wiemers had no one near him, and he took it to the end zone with ease. So now the Purple Dragons lead early.
Well, Nathan Neef is on to attempt the point after. And Nathan Neef, in the regular season of play, 19 of 30 on point after attempts, and he's easily able to pump the pigskin in between the uprights to make the score 7-0 as the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons, following a fumble by Corey Butler of the Wildcats, begin at the 19-yard line of the Wildcats. Just took 3 plays, 39 seconds, and a Curtis to Wiemers 21-yard strike. You're listening to the home of Purple Dragon Athletics on ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters.
Advanced technology, comprehensive quality care. That's Canar Eye Care. We have the newest technology, but we never lose sight of what's most important. our patients. Eye care has changed dramatically in recent years, and we've been there for you every step of the way. At Canar Eye Care, patients spend time with doctors. Total eye care, from contact lenses, including bifocal contacts, treatment of disease, and surgical co-management. Canar Eye Care, the clear choice.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
Now back to Dragon football.
"7-0 is the score. The Purple Dragons on the board first on their own home turf. Hutchinson Field as Nathan Neat kicks the football end over end. It takes a Purple Dragon hop at the 3-yard line and then trickles through the recesses of the end zone. 7-0 is the score following a fumble by Corey Butler of the Wildcats. It was recovered by the Dragons at the 19-yard line of Washington. Following 2 plays that went for -2 yards, Chase Curtis found Brett Wiemers for a 21. King claps his hands. Instead, it will be a direct snap to Emmanuel Hooks. Hook wiggles out of one tackle, and he tries to make his way back to the 20-yard line, the original line of scrimmage, but he is shy about 2 yards.
Okay, we mentioned it right after the Wallace injuries. What is this offense going to do? You obviously have to mix up your game plan, so definitely got to change things up. Not only do you have to keep these guys warm, but you got to make sure that their head's on straight, because this is a whole new different offense now without their starting quarterback.
Wildcats.
Jocksnitz has all your hometown needs to get you geared up for the football game. New Pitt State gear has already arrived, such as hats, tees, sweatshirts, license plates, koozies, and even tees for your dog. We are your stop to make before headed to tailgate. There's only one Gorilla Nation, and there's only one Gorilla Gear headquarters, Jocksnitz Sporting Goods. Check us out in downtown Pittsburg and Park.
You got the sports look of today. Sporting Goods from Jocksnitz.
Now back to Dragon football.
7-0 is the score, 19:15 remaining in the first quarter of action, and now a timeout is used on the field by the Wildcats. Score again, 7-0, Purple Dragons leader. You're listening to the home of Purple Dragon Athletics on ESPN 100.7.
At Lindbergh Pharmacy, we care about your health. From a qualified and caring staff to services like our Time My Meds and MedPack programs, Lindbergh Pharmacy provides personalized service you can count on. Refill prescriptions online at lindberghpharmacy.com or on your smartphone with our free Lindbergh Pharmacy mobile app. You can also sign up for our text alert program, and we'll text or email you when your prescription is ready. Can't make it to us? We'll deliver your medications right to your door. Lindbergh Pharmacy, now 2 locations to serve you.
Now back to Dragon football.
And we welcome you back to Hutchinson Field. Score 7-0 as the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons currently with the possession edge over the Wildcats right now. And once again, from the wing T formation with a 3 wide receiver spread will come King. King looks on a 3rd down and 12, pressure in the backfield, just has to toss it away before he's sacked nearly in his own end zone. And it was a hurried rush as Ty Cicero was the original Dragon to pump through the offensive line and nearly record the sack. So it will be 4th down and 12 now. And coming out to punt for the Wildcats appears to be, and I beg your pardon as I'm attempting to decipher numbers from my location, is someone that is not registered on the roster. It looks like number 9 from our point of view, and we did not have a number 9 given to us. So I beg your pardon. So out to kick now will be the Wildcats. Corbin Jefferson set to return a high snap over the head of the punter. It will go to the back of the end zone, and it is a safety. So the second point of the contest for the Dragons comes off a gap between the long snapper and a punter. 9-0 is the score with 9:03 remaining in the first quarter of action.
Well, not necessarily the way the Wildcats are wanting things to go. Got to be some frustration now, as that's a mistake that cannot be made in playoff time, Cameron. You gotta clean things up. Those things should have been cleaned up a while ago now. So again, the hiccups got to go now, because if you want to move on to the next level, those things got to be erased.
So now it will be a punt attempt from about the 20-yard line towards the east side of the end zone, and with the wind blowing into the kick team, this may be a short squibbed kick.
Well, like I said, it's not big winds like we saw last week in Wichita North, where it's about 20 miles per hour wind all game long. But again, still kicking though in this cold weather, it's going to make a factor where how good the ball bounces and whatnot.
The Purple Dragons special team staff trying to reorganize the players on the field, wanting them to get into their appropriate positions to field the kick, and it's a squib kick taken from the 45-yard line of the Wildcats. Chase Johnson, who is a very vaunted vet, crosses the 35-yard line, is wrapped up around the ankles and stopped across the 35 to the 33-yard line. Tackle made by Dominic Jacobs, the junior. So the Purple Dragons once again will be nestled in relative deep territory of the Wildcats.
Yeah, and this offense got it done on a third down play, so the first two plays were nothing special. We'll see if they can pick it up this time and keep on the roll with the momentum.
I formation in the backfield is Corbin Jefferson in motion from right to left, and then stuttering is Zachary Sutton. Handoff, Corbin Jefferson. He has a burst of speed across the 20, 15, 10. Spells out the end zone, but is he in? He may have been pushed out just shy, and he is out at the 1-yard line for a 32-yard burst.
Well, another big run right there for the Dragons that they've had all season long. Jefferson this time the guy that had it, and now the Purple Dragons are at the 1-yard line. We've seen Chase Curtis call his own number many times in this situation. We'll see what he does here.
I think you had the best analogy from his most recent touchdown in this area, the Tom Brady patented QB sneak.
Kills me to say that.
Curtis will take it, but instead hands it off to Brandis Evans for the game's second touchdown. With 8:44 remaining in the first quarter of action, the score is now 15-0, and Brandis Evans records his 5th rushing touchdown of the year.
And now it could be the quarterback keeper, it could be the option play right there. So the triple option working in the favor of the Dragons, and now Nathan Neve looking to add to it.
So Nathan Neve, who was able to convert last time out, also puts the kick up following a snap that wasn't held very sturdy by Weimers, but it still finds its way in between the pipes. 16-0 is the score. A 2-play, 11-second drive that went 33 yards, and 16-0 is the score with 8:44 remaining in the first quarter of action. We will take a quick break here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
They're doing it Chicago style before, during, and after the game at Casano's Pizza in Joplin and Pittsburgh. The atmosphere is special at 200 West Centennial in Pittsburgh and 3929 East 7th Street in Joplin. Order carryout or see the whole menu at Casano'sPizza.com. Do it Chicago style at Casano's.
Cusano's in the Meadowbrook Commons in Pittsburgh, now serving lunch. Try the buffet with pizza, drink, and a salad for only $8.99.
Now back to Dragon football.
And we welcome you back out to Hutchinson Field, where the score is currently 16-0 as the Purple Dragons lead the visiting Washington High School Wildcats, as Nathan Neef is set to kick this one away. And the kick will take a hop at the 21-yard line, undulates across the 15 to the 10-yard line. Ball is scooped up, and then a blindside tackle made by Dylan Jordan, who came flying from the near side of the field and then nearly suplexed Jalen Yates, the senior. Yates was not ready for the tackle. Yates was absolutely buffeted and is stopped outside of the 20-yard line at his own 18.
What a hit, what a statement right off the bat there on the kickoff for the Purple Dragons, and everything's looking good for them. The Wildcats, like I said, 8:40 left, plenty of time left, but you got to get going right now.
So again, we will experience King in the backfield with a split set Hooks to his left, and on his right is Butler. And now it appears a timeout is being used by KC Washington. There is a timeout on the field used by Coach Strink, where the score is 16-0 with 8:40 remaining in the first quarter of action. We will keep it on Hutchinson Field. For Coach Strink, he was a graduate assistant at Benedictine College, but his tutor, Larry Wilcox, 38 seasons, 250-plus wins under his belt. If there was anyone to teach you, it would be him.
Yeah, that's tough shoes to fill there too, Cam. Just a great person to look up to and get advice, take notes, and then pass it on. And he's going to need those notes and use them very well, because down 16-0, 8:40 in the first quarter, that's quite the difficult task to overcome early.
And a monstrous obstacle waiting for the Wildcats. It's not even just the physical representation on the scoreboard, but the emotional side of things too, since Skylar Wallace is still out of the game, and he has been taken off the field, as discussed before, by EMS officials. King again on a 1st down and 10 following the timeout will take it himself, and then Dylan Jordan able to act like a heat-seeking missile and drops King in the backfield for a sack.
Well, Dylan Jordan, late blitz off the edge there on the left side, and he came in untouched, and he made a statement as King was actually going to run a sweep to the left, had nowhere to go, tried looking back to his right, and he had Jordan right in his face, ready and waiting for him.
And Dylan Jordan was a late-season starter. That is his first sack on the year.
No better place to have it than playoffs,
Exactly what I was thinking. Coming out in the shotgun formation again is King. 3 wide receivers set. He has Hooks in the flat. Delivers a throw to the outside. Caught by Grayson. Grayson tries to go with a tap dancing move at the 5-yard line. Accelerates past the 5 to the 7-yard line before he's shoulder padded down at the 7.
That was Kafka on the hit there. And now it is a 3rd and very long to go here for this Wildcat team. 3rd and 20 to be exact. Not the necessarily place you want to be in, because last time they were here, Cameron, a snap went over the head of the punter and it became a safety.
7:20 remaining in the first quarter of action. 16-0 is the score. The Wildcats will break out of the huddle and will be a lone wide receiver towards the far side of the field. And Grayson, he's 1-on-1 against Weimers, and a flag comes out as a play clock hit 0. The Wildcats were completely unaware, as King's looking back at the referee in disbelief, and he can't comprehend the fact that he missed the play clock winding down.
Well, we were going to see that interesting formation that we talked about at the beginning, as the center lined up right there, King, and then he's only got 1 guy to his right and then 3 other guys to his left.
It's almost like a garrison in front of him as he has a strong left formation. He takes the snap. He'll run towards the far side of the field with blinding speed. He's across the 5-yard line, then pushed backwards. And I thought the ball was loose momentarily, but King actually was able to snake out of 1 tackle, but it still dropped for a loss nevertheless.
And that's a win for this defense, as you know what they say, we'll give you a yard, but you got to get 23 to get that 1st down. As it's now a 4th down for the Wildcats, and the goal here is they want to get this punt off and at least further down the field than what happened last time.
Back to punt again will be the Wildcats. Back to return Corbin Jefferson and Joel Kafka for the Dragons. Snap is bobbled, and it will go out of the back of the end zone again. Again, we were not given the punter's number. No one knows who the punter is, even in the press box with the updated roster. But the snap was bobbled and then dropped and thrown out of bounds. And Coach Strink is absolutely furious as he is out on the field chewing out the special teams unit.
Yeah, you cannot have that twice in a row, Cam. That is definitely, that hurts. Like I said, you cannot do that come playoff time.
So you hear about free points in basketball, not free points in football. 2 safeties in this contest. I have not seen a game in which 4 points on the scoreboard have been contributed just because of plays by the special teams unit not being executed properly.
Well, in general, I haven't seen 2 safeties in 1 game. And it didn't happen the hard way either, Cam. It happened the easy way for the Purple Dragons. They didn't have to do anything. But 18-0, 6:24 in the first quarter. PHS going to get the football again, things are looking good for them.
So the orange tea is brought out this time to secure the football as the wind slowly died down on this beautiful Friday evening in the press box outside.
Yeah.
Frigid.
Nice hot chocolate, though.
Yeah. I know you wanted to go purchase some, and you did. It smelled delicious. The ball's recovered at the 40-yard line of the Wildcats. Here's Brett Freeman across the 35 to 30. He has some blockers in front of him. The cavalry leading the way in the entirety of the Purple Dragon Special Teams unit. Now slapping the back of the helmet of Brett Freeman, the junior. All 5-6 of him march into the end zone for a 55-yard kickoff return.
And there it is. Just to add to it, the Purple Dragons looking great. 24-0 now. Nathan Neef, he's going to go attempt this extra kick, and I tell you, Neef's got to be a happy guy because he doesn't have to worry about the wind like he did last week.
So 11 seconds for Freeman to make it from the 40-yard line all the way into the end zone, and the PAT is up. This one is no good, and it seems Weimers has had difficulty holding the football. He has gloves on, but it could be the weather providing that factor of hesitation. 24-0 is the score, 6:13 remaining in the first frame of action, and we will step aside here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7. Dragons lead it.
Getting the game-winning score is how you feel when you take your vehicle to Vietti Auto Body and Alignment. They have pros that can take your car from to. With a team of experienced pros that get the job done right the first time. Vietti Auto Body and Alignment will deal with the insurance companies, making it a game-winning experience for you. Vietti Auto Body and Alignment voted your #1 choice for auto repair and independent service and repair again this year. On 4th Street since 1948, or call 231-6230. Find them fast in names and numbers.
Now back to Dragon football.
Well, the Twilight Zone has taken its wheels and removed them in Pittsburg, Kansas, as it's just been an absurdity of bizarre happenings in the first round of playoffs between the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons and the KC Washington Wildcats, as Nathan Neef kicks this one away, a shallow kick that rotates in the air helicopter-wise, scooped up at the 6-yard line by King, who's now running east to west, and he breaks past one tackle, maybe two, and he's finally launched out of bounds near the 11-yard line.
I'll tell you what, King took off. I mean, he did not want to see what was coming at him when he put his head up after recovering the football. It looked like 5-6 Purple Dragons coming at him hot. King got away with it, and now back out comes this offense who, again, Cameron, they're trying to find their own identity now. As you have to mix it up, you got to change things, different planning. We'll see what they can do here on the next drive.
And I alluded to the bizarre happenings early on. We will get to that after this play, as Hooks is in the backfield, as well as Butler and King. King awaiting the snap with his glove plastered, or his right hand plastered with a glove. And now King is able to etch his way past one defender and then snakes out of bounds, maybe near the original line of scrimmage, and actually probably for a 1 or 2 yard loss.
That's just a quarterback sweep to the left side. And like I said, Cameron, this Pittsburgh team is coming fresh off a team that ran nothing but quarterback sweeps and dives to the outsides and insides. So this team knows what to expect. They know what to see. So if you're the Wildcats here, you got to change it up.
2nd down and 13 under 5:30 remaining in this first quarter of play. 24-0 is the score. The Purple Dragons lead it. Hard count by King. King will take it himself. He will round towards the near side of the field and then tackled from behind, absolutely smothered by Ty Cicero, who came blindsiding side of King and then wallops him. Ball loose and is recovered after the fact by Daniel Eichenberger.
And that is
Zach Kunkler recovered the football.
And even more bad news, Cam, for the Wildcats team is Keyshawn King is now slow to get up. He is now limping off the field. So now your backup quarterback is now having some troubles getting off the field.
So to truncate or abbreviate the summary here, Skylar Wallace, the starting quarterback for the Wildcats, goes out very first play of the game. Pittsburg High is able to score 2 safeties later, the score is 16-0, and then a touchdown happens for the Purple Dragons. Then another touchdown as Freeman returned a 60-yard punt return for a touchdown following the second safety, and then a rushing touchdown by Brandis Evans makes the score 24-0, 5:15 remaining in the first quarter of action, and now the second fumble of the contest has occurred. The first score for the Dragons was deep in Wildcat territory due to a fumble. Strong right formation with Peyton Steele as the tight end, the extra blocker. Brandis Evans, the fullback. Deep pitch. Corbin Jefferson rounds towards the far side of the field, outside the number, stretches out his arms, and he is in for a Purple Dragon touchdown. And the onslaught continues. 7 minutes, less than 7 minutes of total play time. 30-0 is the score.
The Purple Dragons doing whatever they want to, Camo. As I believe last week they didn't throw the football one time, we might see that again.
So Jefferson is able to score from about 11 yards away. Score is 30-0 as Nathan Neef's PAT, after he missed his last one, is able to avenge the last attempt and correct himself. PAT is good. 31-0 is the score. 5:08 remaining in the first quarter of contest, and the slugfest has deteriorated into a beleaguered contest. We'll take a 30-second break and bring you back more Purple Dragon Athletics on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
Paynes Incorporated in Frontenac is the driveline specialist. Paynes handles all driveline repairs for cars, trucks, four-wheel drive vehicles, and farm equipment. Paynes can also handle any general machine work and offers 24-hour wrecker service. Call Paynes anytime, 231-3170. Paynes Incorporated is located at the intersection of West McKay and Highway 69 Frontenac Junction. Paynes Incorporated in Frontenac is the driveline specialist.
Now back to Dragon football.
Well, the touchdowns are coming like bombshells to the Wildcats now, and they are taking it in stride, but their stride is now starting to shorten. 31-0 is the score. The Purple Dragons with the 30-plus point edge over the visiting KC Washington High School Wildcats in the first round of the Class 5A state playoffs, following an injury to the starting quarterback for head coach Scott Strink's crew and Skylar Wallace. Everything has gone downhill since. A pair of fumbles, 2 safeties, and several touchdowns. Ball pops off of the chest plate of the returnee, and Jalen Yates. Yates is able to evade one defender and is dropped by the second, third, and fourth.
Well, we will see now what is going to be done here. Is I believe that is King now jogging back. It is King jogging to the huddle, so King is the quarterback for the Wildcats, and we'll see what they want to do now. 5:02 on the clock, down 31-0.
Last possession in total, -3 yards. The drive prior to that, King was sacked by Jordan for -12 yards, then a 2-yard completion, then a 0-yard run, and then a safety. So, in essence, negative yardage over the last 2 drives. In motion from right to left will be King. Hooks will keep it himself. Hooks takes one hard cut, plants his left foot, and then is met right in the middle of the hashes at the 10-yard line and forced backwards. A loss of 2 yards on the run by Hooks.
Well, there's Hooks. He was being the quarterback there. Now they got to run that dual system, making sure that King is okay, as he looked like he sprinted off on that play, like he was fine. Good to see there. But regardless, again, like I said, they're down 31-0. They want to start winning. If they want a chance to win this thing, they got to start going now, Cam.
The Wildcats with their opal helmets and bleach white uniforms embellished with red and black numerals and lettering. King to take the snap. The up back and Butler. King looks, lobs up the throw, and it falls incomplete about 6 yards shy of the intended target and Hooks. Brett Weimers as well as Chase Johnson in coverage. Johnson, if he had accelerated, may have had a chance at ball hawking the football and taking it back for a touchdown.
But regardless, it's a win for this Dragon defense, as they have been stout time and again, and they're looking to do just that, as now a 3rd and 13 for the Wildcats.
3rd down and 13 officially from the Wildcats' 9-yard line, in between the left and right hash mark, almost right in the epicenter with 4:14 remaining in the first quarter of play. It's a 31-0 score. Blitz shown on the right side, 4 down linemen for the Dragons. King will take it himself. He's being forced towards the near side of the field, squaring up and almost making the initial stop was Drew Rolfs, but Rolfs played a little bit of Matador defense because he knew Jarek Butcher and Dylan Jordan were there to assist him. And now will be a 4th down from the 14-yard line after a gain of 5 yards on the run.
Man, Dylan Jordan is playing like he's got nothing to lose. He is just uncontrollable right now with his big hits.
And Jordan was inserted into a regular starting rotation during the Fort Scott game, and he has been a massive asset and commodity for this team. I think all teams, I think, in the area would like to have a player similar to Dylan Jordan. Punt yet again. Snap is at the waist level, and it's taken and kicked all the way to the 35-yard line. Takes a hop in Wildcat territory across the 40 and then skitters to the 43-yard line. So the Dragons will have probably their worst starting position of the ballgame, but that's all the way, again, in Wildcats territory at their 43-yard line. .324 remaining in the first quarter of action. 31-0 is the score. And Chase Curtis dancing in the huddle momentarily as he is enjoying himself during his senior year.
Yeah, gotta like how his team's playing right now.
Corbin Jefferson to the right of Curtis. He looks, fires, and tries to deliver the strike, but the ball is in the turf, his intended target, and Patrick Sullivan, the senior.
That was a dart, and it looks like Coach Nicholson heard me on the last drive. As I said, you probably won't see a pass this game. And right off the bat, first play of the drive, they throw a quick pass, incomplete, however. But maybe that's just trying to get Chase Curtis feeling better because he's got to get that arm going before he can get some pass goes.
Curtis with the snap. He immediately turns around and hands it off to Brandis Evans. Evans with a giant seam up the middle of the field, and he's tripped up by the shoelaces for a touchdown-saving tackle made by Anthony Chappell, the junior.
And that's just how good Evans is he can be a dominant factor running the football. As it's mind-blowing how fast and powerful Evans is at the same time. He's that little tank, like we mentioned time and time again, Cam.
I still like the analogy, but I want to remind you what we said last time about the little tank analogy.
That is true.
I won't go into details about that. Motioning over from right to left and stuttering will be Christian Wood. Hand off to Brandis Evans again as he slugs past a few defenders and then scurries across the 20 to the 19-yard line nearest the left hash for a gain of 4 yards. 4 hard-earned yards.
And the Dragons just doing what they want to do right now, run the clock, got the lead, in no pressure at all here, so everything looking good for the Purple Dragons.
Just under 2:30 remaining in the first quarter of play. 31-0 is the score. The Purple Dragons lead. They come out with a 2-wing set. Evans, the fullback, Corbin Jefferson, the deep back, hand off to Jefferson as he takes 1-2 hops, lunges through the middle of the line off the right hip of the center, makes his way near the 10-yard line, and is down officially at the 13 for a 6-yard gain. It will be 3rd down and inches.
Yeah, and then this is the yardage right here that Coach Nicholson and company want, because this could be that fullback dive or the triple option, but you know what, they're going to ignore me and they're going to run a shotgun formation here with split backs for Curtis.
Dylan White, near side receiver. Curtis looks for the slant. He keeps the football himself. He's pushed forward by Corbin Jefferson, but he's dropped in the backfield. First positive play of the contest for the Wildcats made by Quincy Spencer, the sophomore.
Yeah, that's got to be something you want here. Now here comes the kicking unit, Nathan Neef and company. This is interesting to see. Is Cam, we have seen how good of a kicker Neef is, but how struggling this season has been for him.
Well, when you mentioned struggle, it comes from the PATs. Yes, he's already missed one in this contest. But field goal wise, 4-4 on the year. His longest kick, 39 yards. This one right in the vicinity of 34. Neef. Kick is up. It hangs to the right, continues to have air underneath it, and it falls in between the uprights nearest the bottom of the bar. And the score is now 34-0 following a 34-yard field goal attempt that is converted by the senior Nathan Neef. 34-0, the Wildcats still blanked on the scoreboard, and we will take a break here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
Stop in at Bo's One Stop, everything from gas to groceries. Bo's has drink specials daily from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. In a hurry, grab a hot cup of coffee and hot breakfast or lunch from the deli and watch for daily specials. Bo's One Stop also has fishing supplies.
Bo's One Stop is really just that, your one stop for all your in-the-hurry world with great friendly service. Bo's would like to congratulate the Pittsburg High Dragons on a great season and continued success in the playoffs. Before you get to the game, stop in at Bo's One Stop on 4th Street, Pittsburgh. Go Dragons!
Now back to Dragon football.
6 plays, 28 yards, 2 minutes, 20 seconds, ultimately results in just a 34-yard field goal, but the Purple Dragons are fine with that considering the score is now 34-0 with 1:03 remaining in the first quarter of action. Nathan Neef with a big thumping kick. The boomstick carries the football all the way inside the 10-yard line of the Wildcats. On the return is Yates. Yates with a seam towards the far side of the field. He's across the 30, stays on his feet, shakes off one defender, and is out of bounds shy of the 40-yard line, far side of the field at the 38-yard line.
Well, by far, this is going to be the best field position yet for the Wildcats team, so there's a Kickstarter for you to get their drive going now, as they're going to need this.
And Avi, we discussed how detrimental some of the plays have been in this contest for the Wildcats, but this is a good experience against this Purple Dragon team considering this is a 5A club. They used to play in a strong league. They played 3 top-tier Missouri schools, and this is also a Wildcats club that has 19 underclassmen and only 8 seniors. From their own 37-yard line comes King. King awaits the high snap, high lobbing throw, the trajectory way up in the air, somehow caught by Grayson. Grayson comes down with it. He trudges across the 50 into Dragon territory. He's at midfield and is down at the 48-yard line on the giant Purple P logo.
Move the chains, first down. So the Wildcats getting some momentum now, as we'll see if they can continue that and potentially add to this drive.
That was the first down picked up by the Wildcats in this contest as Kings hooked up with Grayson for a gain. After the 15-yard pickup, King comes out yet again in a shotgun formation, 3 wide receivers set. Hooks comes from right to left in motion. King fakes the handoff. He'll round towards the far side of the field, outside the numbers, tries to pivot in reverse direction, but he is swallowed up back in his own territory for a loss of 3 or 4, and it's just the fact that King's trying to pick up positive yards and make something out of nothing. The defensive line, including the linebackers, loading the box for the Purple Dragons.
And I don't know if King wanted to actually hand that thing off as he got the snap delayed, and it looks like that's going to be the end of the first quarter.
So through 1 quarter of action, the score is 34-0 for the Wildcats. It will be a monumental uphill climb, losing their starting quarterback in Skylar Wallace, 2 safeties, a couple of touchdowns conceded, and a depleted morale stock. We will step aside here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7, with the Purple Dragons leading 34-0.
If you are injured in an accident or on the job, it is vitally important that you hire the right attorney. Before choosing an attorney, you should make sure they have the resources to fight large corporations or insurance companies. Your attorney should have extensive trial court experience and a track record of success. The Spigarelli Law Firm, with offices in Pittsburgh and Coffeyville, has the experience, resources, and reputation to provide the quality representation your claim deserves. Fred Spigarelli has received the top rating from his peers with the Martindale-Hubbell Independent Rating System. His firm has the resources to hire the experts and physicians needed to properly present your claim. The Spigarelli Law Firm has successfully tried cases for over 40 years and taken numerous cases all the way to the Supreme Court. Call the Spigarelli Law Firm today at 877-409-7931 or visit their website at spigarelli-law.com. You can also find them fast in names and numbers. Be sure to get reliable information when you choose an attorney to represent you.
Now back to Dragon football.
King launches one way downfield. It will be a jump ball. Dylan Jordan back tips it up and it falls incomplete. And tangled up in the backfield was not Jordan, I beg your pardon, but Grayson was back there for the Wildcats. It was Dennis Hikes, his first attempt at the varsity level playing cornerback, and he came up and was able to swat the football away to bring up a 3rd down and 14 following King's heave.
I tell you, King put everything he had into that throw as he got away with pressure somehow and then stepped up into it, threw that thing as far as he could. It's a great attempt. It was one-on-one coverage, but the advantage goes to the Purple Dragons, and now we got a 3rd and 14.
And we welcome you back into ESPN 100.7, whether you are listening on the dial or on our live stream, alongside Avi Sharma with Shelby White back at our KSHQ studio. I'm Cam Molina. Score 34-0. The Purple Dragons lead it from the outset. And in the early going to the second quarter, it will be King who bounces towards the outside of the field, outside of the numbers, continues to rumble forward. He's wrapped around the arm, his right arm, and is dropped again by Hikes, and Hikes tosses him out of bounds for a small gain, which will bring up a 4th down.
That 4th down brings out the special teams unit for the Wildcats, and they'll have a chance to pin Pittsburg deep, something that we have not seen the Purple Dragons have yet this game.
King picks up 4 yards, and he's tackled by Hikus, I beg your pardon. 2 new returners for the Purple Dragons as more second-unit players are making their way out onto the field. For Tom Nicholson's crew, Hikus will watch the football go out of bounds. The punt is a low-hanging kick that bounces across the 20 and goes out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Purple Dragons will remain in their own territory, their worst starting field position of this contest, and it appears that Chase Johnson, the second-string quarterback, is now out on the field to conduct the offense and lead this team.
And we have seen and called Johnson's name many times this season as he's been the quarterback, and now a late player to run on the field is Evans. Coach Nicholson's got to burn a timeout.
So when it comes to personnel changes, there is some frustration from the Dragons. They want to execute as perfect as possible. With 9:37 remaining in the first half of action, the score is 34-0. The Purple Dragons already right back out on the field. Chase Johnson will still hold on to the helm. The Wildcats already bustling from the sideline and bust down to the football, awaiting the first play with Chase Johnson at the helm. Johnson stepped in as the quarterback against Andover Central in what was crunch time. It was just a touchdown game at that point, Avi, and he was able to lead this team to a victory. He's 5 of 11 on the season, 58 yards, 1 touchdown pass, and that came against the Jaguars. For the Purple Dragons, 16-yard line with 9:34 remaining in the first half of action. Handoff up the middle, and a small pickup is made to the 27-yard line, I beg your pardon.
Well, it's Brandis Evans, fullback dive right up the middle, moved the chains, Camo. And so the Purple Dragons looking good, 9 minutes and counting here in the second quarter.
Johnson breaks out of the huddle yet again. He will line up with an offset I formation, twin wings near side. Deep back is Corbin Jefferson. It will be a pitch to Jefferson. Jefferson wheels in between the blockers in front of him. He's across the 40, wrapped up around the torso, then the waist, and is speared down at the 50-yard line. But Corbin Jefferson carried a load by the name of Willie Fields, a good yard or two. The sophomore making the stop, shy of the 50, more so at the 49-yard line.
Jefferson looking good all night long so far as the ground and pound game for the Purple Dragons being very successful yet again. Johnson will get the call here. The Purple Dragons going to take their time to get up on the ball and snap this thing.
So a 22-yard spurt coming from Corbin Jefferson will bring up a first down and 10 from the 49-yard line of the Wildcats on the near side hash mark. Johnson lines up under center with a tight end towards the far side of the field. Right up the middle is Brandis Evans. He's able to wiggle his way past one Wildcat defender, then is stopped at the 45-yard line nearest the right hash and is stopped approximately at the 45-yard line. Yes, now the football will be officially spotted at the 45-yard line. There was a moment of hesitation there from the official. So a gain of 6 yards brings up a second down and 4.
Yeah, and the Dragons looking good, and Brandis Evans got away from one man, then finally wrapped up by 2 or 3 to bring him down.
Gain of 6 yards on the run. It will be a pistol formation, 2 wings towards the far side of the field again to Brandis Evans. Evans has a blocker in front of him. He's following Daniel Eichenberger. Eichenberger leads the way, and the charge moves the football to the 25-yard line as Brandis Evans was able to squeak in between 2 different Wildcats defenders for a 20-yard pickup.
And Evans, you, like I said, Cam, you know how good he is when he gets the football, and he just takes off. And Evans, the fullback that he is, just wants to keep getting that football so he can keep eating, if you will.
That's the terminology the kids are using nowadays, huh?
That is right.
Under center is Chase Johnson. Here's Christian Wood towards the near side of the field. It'll be a handoff to Corbin Jefferson. Jefferson showing off his strength. A quick flash of excellence coming from the senior, who was listed at 5'9", 155 pounds, but there he seemed like he was a 200-pound fullback carrying Fields.
Well, that's Evans' job, the 200-pound fullback. Yeah. As regardless, they might be switching roles tonight the way they keep running in the football. But now a 2nd and inches here for the Purple Dragons inside the red zone now, knocking on the door with 6.5 left.
9-yard pickup from Jefferson. As there's some object being thrown from the student section, appeared to be candy. Johnson under center, deep back will be Jefferson. It'll be a handoff to Evans. Evans, who takes the football from his belly, brings it up underneath his right arm and then trudges forward all the way inside of the 10-yard line to about the 7-yard line for a gain of 10.
And the Purple Dragons now in closer to the goal line, almost the 6-yard line. Interesting to see what they want to call here. I believe if the way it's going, Evans has got to get this thing to get it in the end zone.
Trying to do some Tony Romo prediction over here.
Yes.
Not saying that I'm Jim Nantz. That's not what I'm applying by any means. I think everyone knows that. Handoff to Corbin Jefferson as he takes one hard, sharp cut towards the near side of the field and then is stopped after maybe a 2-yard pickup. It will be 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line.
Okay, I might need to quit trying to be like Romo because every time I've guessed, I've been incorrect. But Jefferson getting the football there on that one. 2-yard gain, something positive out of nothing. But this defense, we haven't really talked about them too much here, but they're going against probably one of the toughest challenges they've seen all season with this ground pound offense.
Yeah, and for the league that the Wildcats are in, they take on a team by the name of Schlegel, and Schlegel is the #1 seeded team in Class 5A. So there are some challenges there as the handoff is up the middle. Brandis Evans, he's able to bulldoze his way past 2 different Wildcats defenders and sinks his teeth into the end zone. For the 2nd time in the contest, making the score 40-0 with under 5 minutes remaining in the first half of action.
So now 40-0 as not Nathan Neef out here. It's Caden Bressler. So Bressler will get the attempt for what I believe is his first extra point of the season.
Yes, and he actually came in following Nathan Neef's injury against Fort Scott. Holder is Weimers. Weimers with his gloves on, awaiting the snap. It's a low snap, held onto by Weimers. Kick is up, and it is good. So Bressler receiving some praise from Weimers, and that sends some of the players on the sideline into a frenzy, including Dennis Heikes. So the score now 41-0 with 4:10 remaining, and the running clock makes it all the more pressure on the Wildcats. We will step aside and bring you back more action from Pittsburg, Kansas, where the score is 41-0. Dragons lead it.
Grilling season's year-round in these parts. You can almost hear the sizzle of a juicy steak. Don't forget to check your propane levels, and if you're low, it's time to head to Kirkland Welding Supply. Most 20-pound grill tank exchanges contain only 17 to 18 pounds of propane, but at Kirkland's, when you get your grill tank filled, Kirkland's will fill it to 20 pounds. Why pay for propane you aren't getting? Kirkland Welding Supply, 3rd and Joplin in Pittsburg, and at 1301 East Wall in Fort Scott, open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday and 9 to noon Saturday.
Now back to Dragon football.
We urge you to stick around for the SEK Urgent Care halftime report, as there are 3 minutes 15 seconds remaining in the second quarter of play due to the running clock. And after the first quarter of action, this was already a lopsided contest, 34-0. It became even more lopsided as the Dragons went 8 plays, 84 yards in 4 minutes 53 seconds to make it 41-0 now. Bressler set to kick this one away with the slanted football on a tee on this windy and cold October night. Ball scooped up from the 25-yard line, and hesitating at midfield trying to catch the defense off guard was, I believe, Hooks. And then Hooks was stapled down to the turf as he found a hole up the middle. And actually that is number 26, and much like number 9 on the roster, we do not have a name, so I do apologize.
1st and 10 here for this Wildcat team. Saw some positive things on their last drive, but we'll see what they can do here on this drive.
From their own 38-yard line with just under 2:20 remaining in the first half of action. Here's King again. King, hard step to his right. Pressure in the backfield. It almost looked like there was a face mask, and the late flag comes in. King shakes off another defender and is pushed out of bounds back across the 35 to the 34-yard line. It's a loss of 4 on the play, and the referee was the one who threw the flag, and it was a face mask committed by Aaron Woods, the sophomore DN.
Well, when you're up like this, you bring in the other guys to get some experience, and that's a fun experience thing there, grabbing the face mask, learning from that one, moving on. Regardless, first down for the Wildcats.
So first down and 10 for Washington High School. Pittsburg at this rate, albeit we are not even at halftime yet. It's a 41-0 deficit, Avi. I know the Dragons do not want to get too complacent in the second half and they want to execute, but it appears that they will have a second-round matchup.
I agree with you, Cam, but you got to finish this game first, though.
No, and I highly agree with you. King will hand it off. It's a reverse on the play across the 35 to the 40. Another hard step inside towards the near side of the field and down at the 46-yard line. It will be a hold committed by the Wildcats, so that negates about a 6-yard pickup.
Thought there was going to be some a great play there. It's just the reverse play, but it's going to get called back. It's going to be a holding penalty. Move them back some, and now it's going to be a longer ways now for this Wildcat team.
And more room to work with. Plenty more space, and if you're Coach Strink, I know you've only tried it once or twice, but maybe airing out the football is your best option. Complete a couple passes, make sure King's in a rhythm, and then exploit that secondary, a young secondary now, as there are a lot of substitutes in for the Dragons, and try to make a play.
I was going to say the same thing, Cam. When you got a younger, new batch of corners and safeties in here, see what you can do airing this thing out, as we might potentially see the last play of the half now. We're going to be under 20 seconds if they can get this play call off, and they will not.
So Kings with 14 seconds left barely is able to get the snap off before the play clock ran out, and he ducks out of bounds at the 30-yard line for a 6-yard scamper. That does not stop the clock and will bring the first half to an end. So following the King 6-yard run, that will put the Purple Dragons still ahead by 41 points heading into the second half of action. And we will step aside as well. 41-0 the score. The Purple Dragons feeling pretty confident trying to carry that moxie into the second half of play. Make sure to stick around for the SEK Urgent Care Halftime Report, where we will go over first half statistics and break down the first half of action and take a look forward to the second half of play. You're listening to your home of Purple Dragon Athletics on ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters.
Stop in at Bo's One Stop.
It's a feeling you get the moment you step on campus.
It's the knowledge that you become part of something more.
We're a family of crimson and gold.
Every day we challenge ourselves to achieve more.
The reason why we're here is to make a difference.
Everybody wants to stand out.
Without standing apart.
You belong
at Pittsburg State University.
Headquartered in Richmond, Kansas, QSI Quality Structures Incorporated specializes in designing and building complete post-frame buildings. We provide structures built to withstand a 30-pound ground snow load and a 90-mile-per-hour wind shear built to the most stringent codes. Whether you need a garage, agricultural building, commercial facility, or custom-built design, we're your one-stop shop for post-frame buildings. QSI. Everything we do is right on cue.
Crawcan Telephone Cooperative has been serving Girard in southeast Kansas for 65 years. In 1952, we helped our members connect with each other using telephone lines. Today, we connect our members with the entire world using fiber optics. While the technology has changed, our commitment to deliver it to our members has not. Check us out on the web at ckt.net.
treat your non-life-threatening illness or injury at a fraction of the time and cost of an ER visit. Located at the corner of Centennial and Broadway in the Meadowbrook Commons, open 7 days a week for your convenience. SEK Urgent Care, where your family and time matter. Find us fast on names and numbers.
Now back to Dragon football.
Halftime festivities are tiring to even watch, Avi, as Avi Sharma, Shelby White, Cam Molina with you for ESPN 100.7. The Purple Dragons currently leading 41-0, and the dance team for the Dragons on the field, and they're doing some intricate moves that make me hurt.
Well, I don't know how they're doing it because it's got to be cold outside.
Yeah, I don't know either. there wasn't any calisthenics on the sideline from what we could see. They hopped right out there and performed it. The way they're leaning their back so far, I mean, I'm starting to feel like my arthritis flare up.
We're getting old, Cam. We're getting old.
So the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons in this contest, the opening round of the playoffs in 2016, stumbled to the likes of the Blue Valley Southwest Club. And this time around, the script is different. First drive for the Wildcats as we briefly look over the first half synopsis brought to you by SEK Urgent Care. Corey Butler fumbled the football. PHS would recover inside of the 20-yard line of the Wildcats. All it took was 3 plays, 39 seconds to put up a touchdown as Chase Curtis found Brett Weimers for the only passing touchdown of the game thus far. The Wildcats would then, on a 4th down and long in their own end zone, drop the football, and it would be a safety, 9-0 at that point. And then Corbin Jefferson from the 33-yard line struck out for a 32-yard gain, and then Brandis Evans had the dirty work as he mushed up the middle for a 1-yard touchdown. Following that, again, the Wildcats, almost like a VCR tape, went in reverse and had another safety, 18-0 by that time. The Dragons would receive the ensuing kickoff, and then from the 40-yard line of the Dragons, Brett Freeman, a 60-yard punt return for a touchdown to make the score 24-0. The Wildcats at this point grasping at straws. They just need to kickstart their offense. Not the best way to do it by fumbling the football as King lost his handle on the pigskin. Kunkel recovered, and then the Purple Dragons from the 11-yard line of the Wildcats stuffed the football right into the chest of Jefferson and let him go to work. 31-0 the score by that time. Washington went 3 and out following the punt from the 42-yard line of the Wildcats. The Dragons went 6 plays, 28 yards, and Nathan Neef was relied on. His big right foot was able to pump the football in between the pipes. 34-0 by that time. And then into the second quarter of play, running clock commenced, and the Dragons just whittled down a lot of the time on the clock. They went 8 plays, 84 yards, nearly deleted 5 minutes off the clock to make the score 41-0, and that's where we stand currently, Avi. The Dragons executing well. The first string offense and defense seem to be extremely passionate, and they realize that this is their time to shine. 20 seniors on this year's team. It's a good opportunity for many of these guys to go out with style.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're doing just that. As it's their another home game for them, potentially next week. These guys are balling in, balling out, but you know, you got to look at it on this side. Everything's looking good. Momentum's great. Potentially moving on to next week for the Purple Dragons. Then you got to look at it the other side, Cam, for this Wildcat team. Starting off, it was just a brutal scene for them with Wallace going down, and then the mishaps, the errors, you know, the tough things to clean up, and then facing a good Pittsburg Dragon team here at home with the crowd, the noise, and everything. It's causing problems for this Wildcat team. Unless the miracle happens tonight, Camo, this could potentially be their last game. You got to tip their hats off to them because I guarantee you a lot of teams over there, they didn't think they'd make it this far. So,
yeah, I think a lot of the doubters were there, but the Wildcats, who entering districts were 0-5, played Wyandotte, won their first game of the season in the first round of districts, 30-18, and then down Harmon 16-8 to have a playoff berth. But the combined record of Wyandotte and Harmon, 1-14, a completely different specimen than the Purple Dragons. And for this Wildcat team, what is there to gain from this contest? What do you believe is the silver lining for Coach Strink in this ballgame?
Well, you know, it's tough. You know, obviously you want to keep your seniors out there as much as possible because this could potentially be that last time. But, you know, playing a good team like this is a great way to watch film and to learn from them, see how they get things done correctly that you guys are not getting at the moment. And then not only that, it's getting those younger guys in there. I think you mentioned there were a lot of underclassmen in this game that are playing for them right now. So get them that repetition, get them ready for next season, summertime, hit the weight room and prepare for next season.
And just to elaborate on that fact, 8 seniors for this Wildcats team, 19 underclassmen, 20 seniors for the Purple Dragons, so you understand the differential and power, 2 different echelons. But I do want to touch quickly on what you mentioned before we throw it to break. Skylar Wallace, the starting junior quarterback for Coach Strink, went down the very first play of the game. He was down on the field for about 15 minutes before EMS personnel drove him off in an ambulance, and he is at a medical facility right now. We do not know the extent of his injury, but we saw movement from him, and everybody was clapping, so we assume it's nothing that is devastating, but enough to keep him out of the rest of the game and seek medical treatment. So make sure everybody is wary of him and keep him in your thoughts this evening. We will take a 2-minute break and then toss it over to Shelly White back at our KSHQ studios for some updates around the 4-state area. You're listening to your home of Purple Dragon Athletics on ESPN 100.7, your sports headquarters.
What does it take to have a truly positive reputation?
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust? They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Crawcan Telephone Cooperative has been serving Girard in southeast Kansas for 65 years. In 1952, we helped our members connect with each other using telephone lines. Today, we connect our members with the entire world using fiber optics. While the technology has changed, our commitment to deliver it to our members has not. Check us out on the web at ckt.net.
They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Dr. Brent Cousins with SEK Urgent Care. When you're sick, when you're injured, or when you just don't feel like yourself, SEK Urgent Care is here for you. Let our skilled providers treat your non-life-threatening illness or injury at a fraction of the time and cost of an ER visit. Located at the corner of Centennial and Broadway in the Meadowbrook Commons, open 7 days a week for your convenience. SEK Urgent Care, where your family and time matter. Find us fast on names and numbers.
Now back to Dragon Football.
Welcome back to the SEK Urgent Care Halftime Report. Shelby White, I welcome you live inside the KHSQ 100.7 ESPN, the sports headquarters studio. Quick update, we're going to start off with World Series talk. The Astros lead the Dodgers 4-0 in the top of the third. The Astros scored 4 in the bottom of the second to chase Yu Darvish, but the Dodgers are threatening right now. Back-to-back walks to lead off the top of the third by Lance McCullers to Jock Peterson and Enrique Hernandez.
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust?
The area sports that we all know you want to talk about. In Missouri, over in Carthage, Carthage is playing host to Neosho. Carthage leads Neosho 19-0 at the end of the third. In Sarcoxy, the home team, Thayer, welcoming in Thayer, they are as Sarcoxy. Thayer leads Sarcoxy 14-7. Thayer 14, Sarcoxy 7 in Sarcoxy. Just up Highway 69 here in Fort Scott. Fort Scott is welcoming in Ottawa. And going into halftime, Fort Scott leads Ottawa 49-21. Fort Scott 49, Ottawa 21. Other area SEK halftime scores. Down in Baxter Springs, the Frontenac Raiders are leading Baxter 28-14. You can listen to that game on 103.5 The X. Linden playing host to Olpe, and Olpe is leading Linden 12-6. Osawatomie is just smashing Bishop Ward at halftime 49-0. In Yates Center, it's a nail-biter tied up 6-all at halftime between Yates Center and Oswego. Yates Center 6, Oswego 6 in Yates Center. Prairie View making the travel to Baldwin, and right now it's all Baldwin. Baldwin leads Prairie View 34-0. In Columbus, Columbus welcomes in the Parsons Vikings, and it's all tied up at half, 21-all. Parsons 21, Columbus 21. In Chanute is hosting Independence, and they lead 21-14. Chanute 21, Independence 14. Another halftime tie. Labette County traveled to Coffeyville, also known as Field Kinley High School. 8-all there. Labette County 8, Field Kinley 8. And then here, the game you've been listening to on 100.7, your Purple Dragons lead KC Washington 41-0. Over in Missouri, Mount Vernon leads Seneca in Seneca 27-0. More area scores over in Lamar, which you can listen to on 101.7 My Country. Lamar, the Tigers are leading Warsaw 44-6 at halftime. Lamar 44, Warsaw 6. In Carthage leads Neosho 13-0 with about 2 minutes left to go in the third. Down in Oklahoma, Cassia Hall is leading Grove 21-0 with about 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. In Miami leads Veneta 10-0 at halftime. Back over in Missouri, Nevada traveling to Grain Valley, and Grain Valley leads 31-8 at halftime. Grain Valley 31, Nevada 8. Other scores in Missouri. Carl Junction playing host to West Plains, and so far at halftime, Carl Junction's pitching a shutout 14-0. Carl Junction 14, West Plains 0. In Adrian leads Liberal 28-7 at halftime. I already gave you the Mount Vernon Seneca score, but I'll read it off again. Mount Vernon 20, Seneca 0 in Seneca. And in Oklahoma, we got two more scores. One from Oklahoma, one from Missouri. Wyandotte 14, Chelsea 6 in the second quarter. And over in Webb City welcomed in Camdenton, and they are throwing a shutout. Webb City 21, Camdenton 0 at halftime. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll send it back to the field for more football for your Pittsburgh Purple Dragons with Cam Molina and Avi Sharma. You're listening to the SEK Urgent Care Report.
Does your current checking account pay you up to $15 per month? With Common Sense Checking at University Bank, you can earn up to $15 per statement cycle, 10 cents for each swipe after the first 15 swipes. Qualifying is so easy. Simply have one direct deposit or auto payment plus 15 debit card purchases each statement cycle and a $100 opening deposit. Stop by the bank for more information about our Common Sense Checking. Then swipe and save. It's convenience that pays at University Bank. Branch GMB. Member FDIC.
I had no idea you did that.
That's what I said when I learned CDL does more than just electrical work. Like plumbing, heat and air, security cameras and alarms, generators, solar panels, even signs for my business. CDL really is one company that has a solution for about everything in my home and business. Learn more at cdlsolution.com.
Stop in at Bo's One Stop for everything from gas to groceries. Bo's has drink specials daily from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. In a hurry, grab a hot cup of coffee and hot breakfast or lunch from the deli and watch for daily specials. Bo's One Stop also has fishing supplies. Bo's One Stop is really just that, your one stop for all your in-the-hurry world with great friendly service. Bo's would like to congratulate the Pittsburg High Dragons on a great season and continued success in the playoffs. Before you head to the game, stop in at Bo's One Stop on 4th Street, Pittsburgh. Go Dragons!
Hi, this is Dr. Brent Cousins with SEK Urgent Care. When you're sick, when you're injured, or when you just don't feel like yourself, SEK Urgent Care is here for you. Let our skilled providers treat your non-life-threatening illness or injury at a fraction of the time and cost of an ER visit. Located at the corner of Centennial and Broadway in the Meadowbrook Commons, Open 7 days a week for your convenience. SEK Urgent Care, where your family and time matter. Find us fast in names and numbers.
Now back to Dragon football.
Under 45 seconds remaining until the kickoff of the second half of action. Alongside Avi Sharma with Shelby White back at our KSHQ studio. I'm Cam Molina. 41-zip is the score. The Purple Dragons lead it over the Wildcats. And Avi, following this matchup, if the Dragons happen to pull out with the victory, they will take on the winner of Sumner Academy and Casey Turner. And you have an update on that score.
Yes, we do, Camo. In the second quarter, it is 14-0. Casey Turner with the lead over Sumner Academy. We'll keep you updated on that game as much as possible.
And Sumner entered the contest with a 500 record at 4-4. Turner one game under 500, so if you were going to just do the eyeball test, you would consider this a minor upset.
Absolutely. I actually told a couple people in the booth about it, and they were like, what? They were stunned about it. So upset in the making, Cam.
Well, the Purple Dragons will have their work cut out for them next week, whether it happens to be Turner or Sumner Academy. Both teams are valiant squads who have history behind them and also a great coaching staff on each side. The Purple Dragons, again, with the 40-plus point lead, have this game well in hand, but that's not to say the Wildcats can't gain valuable experience from this contest.
Yeah, going to be a learning lesson here. Moving on out, 24 minutes on the clock for potentially the last time you'll see this Wildcat team on the field. Give it all you got, man. That's all I got to say is go out and, regardless the score is 41-0, at least try to make something out of nothing and have fun with it. I saw a Bleacher Report tweet a team lost 108-0, and they said it was the funnest game they've ever played. I don't know how that happens, but, like I said, give it all you got and just see what you can do.
Well, the Purple Dragons will have a flurry of young talent taking the field for the offensive series, but even prior to that, the special teams unit is chock full of young underclassmen. But one upperclassman is out on the field, and Drew Hobbs, the junior, as well as Brett Freeman, who are both back to return the opening kickoff of the second half. Right hand is raised for the kickoff specialist for the Wildcats, and it's a squib kick that takes a few hops across the 40-yard line with the stanchion lights hanging over the field. A glimmer hangs at the 35-yard line where the ball is scooped up, and the Wildcats offense will tend to the turf once more.
And we'll see who the quarterback will be here for Coach Nicholson and company. I was not able to catch a glimpse on which one it was.
It is Brett Weimers, the junior, and he played in limited action against North following the blowout. Chase Johnson is the third-string quarterback. I guess you could say that Johnson's moved up in the ranks since Ty Roark's injuries. The handoff is right up the middle and muscling forward across the 45 to the 49-yard line was a streaking Purple Dragon. And it was Shane Munkin on the carry, and Munkin has seen some action over the last 2 or 3 weeks due to some lopsided affair. Munkin, 11 carries on the season, 39 yards, and he had his first career touchdown last week against the Redskins.
Well, Munkin looking good, and he's looking like a mini Brandis Evans out there.
Munkin's a bit larger than Brandis Evans and a bit more to tote around at 5'8", 203 pounds. Pitch outside is the Freeman. He skitters across the 50 at the 45, makes the Chicago stop, allows 2 defenders to blow by him, and then is forced out of bounds at the 44-yard line after a pickup of about 7.
Yeah, and he was actually out of bounds, but it came, like we mentioned, the clock's going to continue to run here. The only way for it to stop is if an injury or a penalty happens, or excuse me, a timeout happens from here on out.
Are you a Acacia specialist? You're not looking at the rule book, you just pretty much read it verbatim. So Section 7 and Code 1 and Subsection 9 states that.
I have to keep that private, Cam.
You're over here on your text messages, I know it. Christian Wood comes over from right to left on the motion, hand off to Munkin again, and then Munkin lowers his shoulder pad and is able to sweep a few defenders away from him with his elbows and is stopped right square down at the 39-yard line for a 3-yard gain. That moves the chains.
Well, Munkin has some company to run into there. Number 79 for them, the freshman for the Wildcats. Bren Scott and then Dimitri Carr. And they're both freshmen, two big guys up in the middle. That could be some problems later on in next season for this Wildcat team.
Two-wing set. Slot receiver is Dennis Hikus. Play action from Brett Wiemers. He will instead delay the handoff and get it to Freeman. Freeman across the 30, the 25, and steps out of bounds at the 24-yard line for a 15-yard gain. And Wiemers faked the handoff to Munkin, with Freeman being the deep back, and then came shooting out in a lateral motion to grab the football and then sprinted forward for a double-digit gain, bringing up 1st down and 10 from the 23-yard line of the Wildcats.
Well, Wiemers faked you out hardcore there, as that was a beautiful counter play there. The back door, Coach Nicholson has called that many times this season, and a great fake selling it out, and that's what got to the big run right there to get them at the 23-yard line.
Near side receiver for the Purple Dragons is Patrick Sullivan. Far side receiver is Christian Wood in a 2 wide receiver set. Wiemers lines up under center, strong right set. Munkin will fight his way forward and shrugs off one defender. And as he shirks off the second, he's stopped right at the 20-yard line, stamped out nearest the left hash mark for a gain of 3 yards.
And good drive here for this Dragon offense. Seeing some new faces out here, and so these guys getting their repetition, making sure they take advantage of those opportunities while they can, and they're doing just that.
So after a minor hammering hit against Munkin, it will bring up a 2nd down and 7. The table is set for Brett Wiemers and company. Near side receiver for the Purple Dragon is Kane Posa, the sophomore. Handoff again is up the middle and lunging forward to about the 11-yard line is Munkin for a 9-yard gain. So Munkin may have picked up 5 or 6 yards. First down and 10 at the 11-yard line for the Purple Dragons. 7:30 remaining in the 3rd quarter of play. 41-0 is the score. Wiemers will line up under center. He has an offset backfield with Munkin to the right of Freeman. Pitches outside of Freeman. He makes one hard jab inside. He evades 2 different Wildcats defenders before he is shored up shy of the 10-yard line. Maybe a 1-yard gain exactly at the 10. It depends where the forward progress spots him.
Hey, what a move by Freeman there to get away from a couple tacklers. That was very impressive, as he was able to dodge that and got something out of nothing.
2nd down and 10 from the 11-yard line. Under 7 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter of play. The running clock keeps everything moving along with a 41-point edge, and the 3rd string unit for the Purple Dragons out on the field. Far side receiver, the wing for the Purple Dragons, motions over. Wiemers will keep it himself. He's across the 10 to the 5, trying to accelerate. He's tackled right at the right hip and is stopped shy of the 5-yard line at the 6-yard line for a 4-yard gain.
Well, I don't know if that play was supposed to happen, as Wiemers was lost on that one. Tried to hand it off to 2 people that are already gone, and so he just did a bootleg to the left side and made something out of nothing. So 3rd and 4 here for the Purple Dragons.
So 1st down potential still inside the red zone. The Dragons will have to get to the 1-yard line. Christian Wood subs in. Wiemers still on the play, as he is currently relaying the play from Coach Nicholson to the entirety of his Purple Dragon cast. Strong left formation. Freeman, the deep back, with Munkin, the fullback. Lined up on the left hash mark. Handoff to Munkin. 203 pounds. Rumbles into the end zone for a touchdown. The 2nd rushing touchdown on the season for the sophomore. 5:37 remaining in the ball game. 47-0 is the score.
Things looking great here for the Purple Dragons, as they will now extend their lead. Clock continuing to wind down, and back out will be the wrestler.
So Bressler set to attempt the PAT. He takes 2 steps back, 3 steps to his left. A typical kicker's lineup and routine. Waiting the snap. Wiemers set to hold. Snap. Kick is mishandled. Wiemers will roll out of the pocket. He's trying to make something out of nothing. He looks up, lobs it up. Ball tipped up into the air, and the hot potato drill resulted in an incomplete pass. And Jarek Butcher was not happy, as he was waving his hands back and forth, asking for the football toward the back right corner of the end zone. Regardless, 47-0 is the score with 4:40 remaining in the third quarter of action. We will stay here at Hutchinson Field and not throw it to break. A quick reset alongside Avi Sharma with Shelby White back at our KSHQ studio. I'm Cam Molina. 47-0 is the score following a near 8-minute drive by the Dragons. A 5-yard Monken touchdown makes the score over 45 points. And Avi, let's quickly transition. A special shout out to the Pittsburg State University's volleyball team as they won against Northwest Missouri tonight and ended up breaking a multi-game losing streak.
Absolutely. Some confidence there for the Gorilla volleyball team to hopefully give the men some confidence tomorrow as they have to play one of the best teams in the country in the Bearcats. Should be an exciting matchup that you and I will both get to see.
It will also be here on ESPN 100.7. Pregame starts at noon. Eddie Lomchek, Mike Snow, and BJ Harris will all be together entertaining you lot throughout the majority of the afternoon and into mid-afternoon as, again, the Gorillas will take on the Bearcats, who have 38 consecutive wins coming into the game. Following the Bressler kickoff, the football is returned by Yates from the 10-yard line, but he goes maybe 3 or 4 feet to the 12-yard line and then is quickly stopped by Aaron Woods.
So we're going to see this offense of the Wildcats and then this freshly new defense for the Purple Dragons. One thing you mentioned before the end of halftime was, go ahead and throw the football here, see what King can do, and potentially, see if he can catch some of these younger guys off guard with a deep pass or something.
So King comes back out onto the field with his neon pink socks and his very vibrant yellow cleats. Claps his hand with his white right armband. Being shone down upon by the lights. It's a dish outside of Grayson. Grayson weaves towards the far side of the field. He has more than enough for the first down across the 40, at the 45, and pushed out of bounds at the 47-yard line for a scamper of 32 yards. King to Grayson for the largest Wildcat play in the ballgame.
Well, there you go, Cam. It's just like that, a quick and easy bubble route that was supposed to start on this side of the field ended up being on the complete other side of the field. So momentum now for the Wildcats now 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
King again will line up as the deep ball receiver at the 40-yard line. Pressure coming, quick toss to the outside where Grayson is located. It is somehow grappled and reeled in at the 48-yard line for a gain of 2 yards. In coverage, Logan Hartman, the sophomore.
Yeah, it was Markeith Grayson, the sophomore with the catch. And like you said, Cam, so many young guys on this team. Good to see them get some repetition in this game, regardless of the outcome.
After the 2-yard gain, the ball is spotted on the near side hash closest to the Pittsburg High Purple Dragon bench. King will come out and will be the lone player in the backfield. He has an up back to his left side in Butler. I beg your pardon. King hard count, takes the snap, pressure immediately in the backfield. King is able to evade traffic, then navigates across the 50 into Purple Dragon territory and is pushed out of bounds to the 45-yard line for a gain of 7, which will bring up a 3rd and 1.
And that was a great job there by the Purple Dragon defense. As like I said, these young guys, they got to feel pretty good getting some action. And I'll tell Cam, when you're a player playing in 40-degree weather and it's cold outside, you like to be the guy on the field because when you're standing on the sideline shivering, it is just terrible.
Score is currently 47-0. The Purple Dragons lead it with under 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter of action. Hard count by King, forcing one of the Purple Dragons towards the near side of the field to jump off sides, but he quickly recovers. King rolls outside the pocket, delivers a high arcing throw to Grayson, but it falls incomplete. High-kissed coverage. And Grayson had one-on-one coverage towards the outside. Grayson was in the territory to potentially receive the football, but King overshot him and threw it out of bounds.
Yeah, and that was just another heave by King, as we've seen him do, and that will actually end us to the third quarter.
So after 3 quarters of action, the Purple Dragons have this one mostly in hand. 1 quarter left to execute well. and think about next week in the second round of the playoffs. 47-0, the Purple Dragons lead it. We will step aside for 30 seconds to bring you back more action from Hutchinson Field. You're listening to your home of Purple Dragon Athletics, ESPN 100.7.
Now accepting new clients. At the Pet Care and Surgery Center, Dr. James Clark believes all of our pets deserve kind, humane, and loving treatment. From a simple checkup or rabies vaccination to performing major surgery. Plus, Dr. Clark has boarding, grooming, nutrition, and wellness checkups. Dr. James Clark can provide that loving member of your family with the treatment they deserve. Call 620-308-6454 to set up an appointment or simply visit petcarecenter.org. Pet Care and Surgery, making a difference.
Now back to Dragon football.
Fourth quarter of action begins. 47-0 the score. The Purple Dragons lead it. King with the direct snap. He's across the 45 and the 40 towards the near side of the field and ushered out of bounds into the Purple Dragon sideline and almost runs into the bench, but he is swiftly stopped before anything disastrous occurs. If you are just joining us alongside Avi Sharma with Shelby White back at our KSHQ studio, I'm Cam Molina. Whether you're listening on the dial or on our live stream, we welcome you in. The Purple Dragons, to begin with, was able to produce a touchdown following a Wildcat turnover, but even prior to that, Skylar Wallace, the starting quarterback for the Wildcats, went out with an undisclosed injury, and he was carted off the field and taken by ambulance to any local medical facility, most likely via Christie right down the street from us. But he was tended to rather swiftly by the training staff, and commendable effort on their part doing their job as King will take the snap, tries to lob it on an out route. He finds Hooks. He scoops up the football at the 32-yard line, tries to march to the 30, but he is forced backwards in a forceful push from 3 or 4 Wildcats behind Hooks. Will officially place the football at the 30-yard line for a gain of 9.
Great job there. And Cam, I actually just got news that it is 34-0 now. So Casey Turner looking very, very good. We do not know what quarter it is, but they are up big. Playoff implications on the line on that one.
Well, Turner will be potentially the next opponent for the Purple Dragons, who seem to have this game well in hand. King takes the snap. He has to reach out to his left to grab it. After he grapples it, he's across the 30, spins out of one tackle, and then is ankle tackled across the 30 at the 27, maybe 28-yard line by Logan Hartman, the sophomore.
Yeah, and I got to say that was Ben Blessett with a great job hanging on to him. Great job to not let King get away as he was playing, looks like, I'm not sure if he was D-end or linebacker there, but regardless, doing his job, making sure that quarterback doesn't get away from him.
Under 10 minutes remaining in the ball game, 47-0 is the score as King makes his way back into the huddle. It's a first down and 10 from the 28-yard line of the Dragons, nearest the left hash mark, in between the hash mark at the 27 and 28 yard line. King takes a snap. It's a wide receiver screen. Grayson picks it up at the 30, tries to cut towards the outside. He is outside the numbers now, and is pumped out of bounds short of the 20-yard line at the 21 for a gain of 7.
So King looks good when he's doing those quick little out route passes and the bubble passes and everything, so his wide receivers got space and they can do something about it.
9:15 remaining in this contest. The Purple Dragons will most likely take on a formidable foe in Casey Turner, 3-5, entering the playoffs. In the case, Kansas City school, relatively inundated with talent, so it will be quite the difficult competition between both clubs. King cuts back inside after receiving the direct snap. He's dragged down by the neck of his jersey, and the collar of his jersey was momentarily off his shoulder pad, but it was quickly fixed by Hooks following a game tackle led by Clayton Hake by the Purple Dragons, the sophomore.
And clock continues to run here. We'll see if King and company can get in the end zone or get some points here for their team. Like I said, something out of nothing, Cam.
First and 10 from the 16-yard line of the Dragons. Ball is spotted right on the left hash mark of the 16-yard line with under 8:15 left to play. King looks to his right, then to his left. He has a 3 wide receiver set. Near side receiver is Grayson. King feeling the pressure. He looks towards the back of the end zone. He'll make a play out of the pressure in the backfield. He skitters along across the 20, tries to stiff on one defender. He does. Makes his way across the 10, dives for the end zone. Is he in, though? He is. A touchdown. As Keyshawn King ended up running what seemed to be over 50 yards when the ball was actually spotted at the 16-yard line to get the Wildcats on the board with under 7:45 remaining in the ball game.
Well, how about that for King? That was quite a play, as that was a busted play. Again, he made something out of nothing, and he did a phenomenal job to get that one. And so now put him on the board. For the Wildcats, got to feel something, got to like that a little bit there for them.
King, again, the only Wildcat in the backfield, hikes up his right leg to bring Hooks in motion. Hooks will be the lead blocker for King. King looks towards the end zone. He stays on his feet. Flag comes out. King stretches out the football, and he is in for the 2-point conversion.
I think this one's going to come back, and they're going to have to redo this.
I think we will have a retry, as you said, Avi. After the Wildcats team moving off the field, it was a face mask against the Purple Dragons. It is declined. So 47-8 is the score now. The Purple Dragons with the 39-point edge, but the Wildcats get on the board. 6:34 remaining in the contest. The Purple Dragons in the driver's seat. We will keep it here in Pittsburg, Kansas. Late in the fourth quarter of action, and it seems the Purple Dragons will most likely play K.C. Turner. And the difficulty there is scouting at this point, but what the Purple Dragon staff does extremely well is being able to look at the film and diagnose what exactly their team needs to practice throughout the week. Even with this weather playing a factor, we have a cold front moving in tomorrow. That's a pretty stellar job by the coaching staff being able to plan around it.
Well, you know how Coach Nicholson is. He'll enjoy this one for probably 10 minutes, and then he'll go find a way to find the film room and get ready for next week's game. That's just the kind of coaching mentality that he has. Just a great guy, and just wants to do whatever it takes to get these kids a win.
And typically what Coach Nicholson tells his guys is, all right, enjoy the win right now, but tomorrow at 8 a.m. I better see you in the film room with myself, and we're going to look at what we did wrong. So I'm sure he and the rest of his crew will congregate. And what he has explained to me several times is that his seniors are at the forefront of everything. They want to have these film sessions. They want to be good. After the squib kick is muffed at the 25, somehow scooped up at the 22, and then ran forward for a small gain by Jordan Johnson, the sophomore.
Yeah, Cam, that's just the mentality and attitude you love to have for your seniors to be the guys that say, hey, Coach, we want to do this with you. We want to learn. We want to get better. That as a coach, that's just got to feel an amazing feeling.
Under 5 ticks remaining in this ball game. Some more new subs come in for the Purple Dragon. Fresh blood in Elijah Rux, who's on the field, the sophomore wideout. He's towards the near side of the field in a 2-wing set. Monken, the fullback, the deep back is Freeman. Hand off to Freeman. Freeman tries to break out of one tackle. The arm tackle does not drag him down. And a correction, it is not Freeman. It's Brandon Petty, the sophomore, who recently checked in.
Yeah, and it's Christopher Wallace is the quarterback now for PHS. Not normally do you ever see a number 81 at quarterback position, Cam.
Yeah, it's rare, and we saw this last week where he received some snaps, and I thought originally he was number 8, and there was something that was on the back of his jersey, like tape, you know, like the YMCA games where you're trying to be checked in basketball, and they just quickly tape it on your back. That's what I thought it was. As the handoff is again up the middle, and Petty is able to pick up a decent amount of yardage as he's able to navigate through the thicket of Wildcats and carves out enough for a first down.
Yeah, and, you know, you've seen the substitutions. You're seeing these guys getting some repetition. Good to see. Freshmen getting in and enjoying the opportunity. You see a couple of parents cheering on their kids as they get to step on the field, getting some varsity repetition.
3:30 left in the contest, and I think it's candy that is being thrown into the stands by some of the managers and spirit squad members of Pittsburg High School. And there is no better time since Halloween is right around the corner. Do you have any costumes picked out?
I'll keep that classified, Cam.
Under center. A quick turnaround and handoff, and again, it's Petty. Petty is able to weave his way in between several Wildcat defenders. He's stopped across the 40 to the 39-yard line in Wildcat territory. Why is that classified? I'm guessing you don't have a costume picked out and you're just trying to fill time at this point?
No, I am a huge fan of Halloween, so therefore I like to plan ahead of time and probably order mine come like June, July to prepare for Halloween. This year, I will be Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny. So is your girlfriend going to be Lola?
Correct.
Okay.
Toon Squad rolling out.
Okay. Well, probably the least intimidating Toon Squad I have ever heard of.
Well, the Bugs part, yes. Lola, you might still want to be intimidated by.
Wallace will line up under center with Munkin, the fullback behind him, Petty in the backfield. Handoff is to Munkin. Shane Munkin rumbles forward. He stampedes past one defender, stays on his feet. The 200-pounder makes his way across the 30, outside the left hash mark and shy of the 25 at the 27-yard line.
Gotta love this drive with the younger kids getting in there. As Coach Nicholson got to be pleased with these guys. As you see in hockey and playoff time, people grow up the beards. Cam, I want you to ask Coach Nicholson if that's his good luck charm for growing that thing out.
I will mention to him during the post-game interview, but I'm so self-conscious about my facial hair. It may bring up some very repressed memories and some repressed thoughts and emotions. As Wallace keys in under center, ready to trigger the play, he'll stand up and look at the play clock, which stands at 5 seconds. It continues to wind down 4, 3, 2. Wallace will take the snap, take the knee. And with 1:36 left, the Dragons will go ahead and call this a victory and advance to the second round of the playoffs, I beg your pardon, and will most likely, we say most likely because it has not been finalized yet, but Casey Turner, who had a 35-point lead against Sumner Academy, will most likely be the upcoming opponent.
Yeah, and so we don't know what the offensive has, but we're gonna find it out. We're gonna learn, and we're gonna see what it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be an exciting matchup.
1 minute remaining in the contest. Wallace will take the snap. Avi, we didn't really see much of the Dragons tonight. I know that sounds odd to say and contradictory since we've been here for about 3 hours at Hutchinson Field, but the Dragons offense played limited snaps. They were maybe on the field in total 10 minutes. Their longest drive was under 5 minutes. It was the defense that stepped up, and then costly detrimental mistakes on the part of the Wildcats sealed the game for them probably out of the first quarter.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I mean, this Dragon team, they've just been so phenomenal. And for Coach Nicholson, I know he preached it, play and win all 4 quarters. That's exactly what his team has done tonight. That's exactly what they're going to do, and they're going to move on to next week's game.
So the victory formation is used for one last time as Wallace, the freshman, and the rest of his unit will make their way over to the Purple Dragon sideline and will shake hands with the Wildcats, whose season has come to an end with a final score of 47-8. The Dragons win over Washington High School, and Pittsburg High earns their 7th victory of the year and awaits the winner of Sumner Academy and KC Turner. We will step aside for 2 minutes and bring you back some final thoughts, the scoring breakdown, and an interview with Pittsburg High School head football coach Tom Nicholson. Don't go anywhere. More action from Hutchinson Field and Pittsburg, Kansas here on your sports headquarters, ESPN 100.7.
Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing can tow all cars, trucks, and some semi-tractors and trailers in town or cross country. Larry Barrett has emergency wrecker service for all accidents, 24-hour towing. Been in an accident? Then call the pros. They have quality auto body repairing and painting from certified technicians for all major and minor repair jobs, and they can deal directly with the insurance companies, taking the stress out of your life. Go to barrettbodyframe.com or stop in and see them at 1601 East 27th Street Terrace or call 232-9400. That's Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing. Customer service first. See them fast in names and numbers.
Grilling season's year-round in these parts. You can almost hear the sizzle of a juicy steak. Don't forget to check your propane levels, and if you're low, it's time to head to Kirkland Welding Supply. Most 20-pound grill tank exchanges contain only 17 to 18 pounds of propane, but at Kirkland's, when you get your grill tank filled, Kirkland's will fill it to 20 pounds. Why pay for propane you aren't getting? Kirkland Welding Supply, 3rd and Joplin in Pittsburg, and at 1301 East Wall in Fort Scott, open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday and 9 to noon Saturday.
Marone's Food Service Incorporated wishes the best of luck to all area athletic teams this season. It has been their pleasure to provide great quality food products to area schools, colleges, and universities in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. Marone's Food Service is proud to be a 4th-generation family-owned and operated business with over 80 years of service to their customers, employees, families, and communities. Good luck to all area teams from Marone's.
If you're in the mood for shopping, visit Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall. Pittsburgh's original one-stop shopping center has a lot to offer. A great variety of clothing and shoes for the whole family, a large selection of gifts, sporting goods, events, and entertainment, plus terrific places to eat, and you can enjoy the newest movies in 8 theaters. Shop the comfortable and convenient atmosphere at Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall. There's always something happening at Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall.
Now back to Dragon football.
A very welcome back to Hutchinson Field, and currently it is a clobbering of Purple Dragon fans towards the east end zone, celebrating with the prevailing team, the home team. The Pittsburgh High Purple Dragons will make their way out of the first round of action, advance to the second round of the Class 5A playoffs. And despite a cool night, Avi, this Purple Dragon team was hot.
Yeah, absolutely. Right off the gate, they looked phenomenal. Putting up 30-plus points in the first quarter. Got to be something that Coach Nicholson wants to see and love to have. These guys looked great. They played great. And now they're just going to keep moving on. Like I said, I think Coach Nicholson's that kind of guy. He's going to enjoy the win, and then right after he leaves talking to us, he's ready for next week.
A breakdown of this contest. We'll start with the Wildcats, who had the football to begin this contest. And it would be Skylar Wallace who would exit the ball game due to injury. He had to be escorted off the field via ambulance. Hopefully everything is all right with that young man, and a crushing blow to the Wildcats in the contest. The Dragons would respond following a Butler fumble with a Curtis to Weimer's 21-yard strike to make it 7-0. Then a safety by the Wildcats made it 9-0. After that, the Dragons would take over the football again at the 33-yard line of the Wildcats, 16-0 by that point. Another safety made it 18-0. The Dragons would continue to pour it on following a Brett Freeman punt return after the safety, a 60-yard return for a touchdown. Another fumble by the Wildcats would make it 31-0. And then after that, the Avalanche continued. Nathan Neve hit a field goal, a run by Corbin Jefferson, and Brandis Evans put this team over the top. And then a rushing touchdown by Keyshawn Key for the Wildcats made the final score 47-8, and we are now joined by Pittsburgh High School head football coach Tom Nicholson. Coach, I know it was a cold night, but the end result probably had to be worth it.
Yeah, it's always nice to win in advance, and starters did what we were hoping to do. They came out and they took care of business. It was unfortunate that very first offensive play for them. Kid just, it's just one of those things you hate to see happen on the football field. I think he's okay, but, you're always going to err on the side of caution, so they're checking him out. But their coach said he thought he'd be okay, so we certainly hope and pray that he's going to be okay.
And, Coach, I want to talk to you about that. How are you able to, one, regroup your guys? I know it's not their teammate, but still another football player. I'm sure at some point they were vicariously thinking about that. But just the fact that they saw somebody injured, had to be carted off the field, one. And then, two, can you just talk about how prideful you are following the character of everyone on the field, taking a knee, and that moment of solace?
Well, yeah, speaking to our kids, they're high-character kids, and they play hard and they want to win. And but when it comes down to it, it is just a game, and everybody needs to walk off this field healthy at the end of the day. And they showed respect. That kid, that player is a very good player of theirs. He's probably the best player on their football team. So they were, I'm sure, emotionally shook after that. But in football, the quickest way to get hurt is to not go hard and not be completely focused on what you're doing. So you got to remind them, you got jobs to do. You got something you got to do. You got to go hard, or something's going to happen. You're going to get rolled up on. When you're going as hard as you can, usually your feet are up off the ground. You're not stationary, and injuries are less likely to happen. So you just got to make sure that they're focused, and you got to go hard in this game, or bad things typically happen.
Coach, your offensive line, and I know this was a Wildcat team that maybe the record didn't show, but there were some athletes on that Wildcat club. Yeah. The defensive line, one of them. How did you feel about your offensive line's performance?
I thought they did very well, very well. We didn't run a lot of offensive plays, but what we were doing was working, and they were getting to the second and third levels pretty well. So, no complaints at all. We ran a lot of counter tonight, and our offensive line, we've said all year, they're not real big, but they all can run, and we got to see our guards and tackles zone and get up the sideline several times, and they're pretty good in space on their feet.
And then, Coach, your younger kids, much like last week, able to earn some reps. Can you talk about how invaluable this experience will be?
Well, you said it. It is invaluable, because there is nothing like playing on Friday night. You can't simulate it. Monday nights are good, and that's where they hang their hats. But But the goal is to get on this field on Friday night. So that's the reward for all the summer conditioning and the off-season weights and the early mornings and the conditioning that they've done. You want to play in a game every once in a while like this to where your kids get the reward and they get to experience what Friday night is like, especially in the playoffs. So, I think if we didn't get them all in, it wasn't because we weren't trying. We were walking them down the line trying to make sure we had every body in. So hopefully we got every kid in. But, that's a reward. These kids have put in countless hours through all year long. So I hope they enjoyed it.
And, Coach, a quick update. Casey Turner, we last checked, was on top of Sumner Academy. I know you're trying maybe not to revel in this win too much, but how do you sit your guys down and prepare them for the second round of the playoffs?
Well, we'll go back and we do all our talking in the locker room, and we'll eat a post-game meal, and then we move on. It's win or lose all year long. It's if we win, we got to get back to work, and if we lose, we got to get back to work and figure out how to get a little bit better. But yeah, it's moving on. You win, you advance. So if we want to try to advance again, we better get refocused.
And, Coach, this last question is courtesy of Avi Sharma. He wants to know if you have the playoff beard going right now. He wants to know if it's a good luck charm, any sort of voodoo behind it, any sort of reason.
Laziness.
Okay.
I hate shaving, so I'll trim it about once a week. I've had it for about 2 years now, so he's not real observant, man. But no, it's
Some
just.
of us are jealous of it.
Yeah, no, it's just me being lazy.
Well, once again, that was Pittsburg High School head football coach Tom Nicholson. Coach, again, congratulations on the win.
Thanks, Cam. Appreciate it, guys.
So the Purple Dragons make it out of the first round of the playoffs, winning with the final score 47-8 over the KC Washington Wildcats. Avi, were you happy with the result of the question?
No. I was hoping it was a playoff beard, but that's okay. Like I said, that's just the amazingness and the great guy that Coach Nicholson is. First thing is he came in here and he wishing the best for that for Wallace. That was the great thing, and he stood out and said how great of his team players and everything. No matter what, safety is first. That's one thing that interview stood out to me, was just phenomenal about how great of a guy Coach Nicholson is. But like I said, Cam, you know how he is. They're 1-0 right now. I don't think their record matters other than they're 1-0. Next week, Casey Turner.
Again, keep young Skylar Wallace in your minds tonight, everybody, as he was taken off the field via ambulance and moved to a local health facility. So at least from what Coach Nicholson was telling us, which was through the tin can from Scott Strink, the head coach for the Wildcats, that Wallace is all right. But again, keep him in your mind tonight. Once again, final score 47-8. The Pittsburg High Purple Dragons escaped the first round and will face at this rate KC Turner in the second round of action at home. Avi, it should be an exciting game.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. We're going to see if we're going to see another different offense back-to-back weeks. I don't know if it's just a playoff atmosphere. You got to mix things up completely. But I'm really looking forward to that matchup. Hopefully it's warmer, Cam. I mean, we were fine up here. Coach Nicholson came up here and he said, man, it's hot up here. And I was like, yeah, it's really good. So hopefully everything turns out great on Friday.
Well, hopefully we'll be warm weather at this exact same time next Friday, starting at 6:30 when our pregame begins. Make sure to tune in as the Pittsburg High Purple Dragons will take on the winner of Sumner Academy and Casey Turner. From the last time, from Avi Sharma as well as Shelby White back at our KSHQ studio, I'm Cam Molina. We will throw it to ESPN and the World Series action. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Have fun and be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow for Pitt State action beginning at noon as the girls welcome in Northwest Missouri.
Welcome to Orthopedic Specialist of the Four States. Neck to toe, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic and sports
What's
medicine care group.
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust? They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Headquartered in Richmond, Kansas, QSI Quality Structures Incorporated specializes in designing and building complete post-frame buildings. We provide structures built to withstand a 30-pound ground snow load and a 90-mile-per-hour wind shear built to the most stringent codes. Whether you need a garage, agricultural building, commercial facility, or custom-built design, we're your one-stop shop for post-frame buildings. QSI. Everything we do is right on cue.
It's a feeling you get the moment you step on campus.
It's the knowledge that you've become part of something more.
We're a family of crimson and gold.
Every day we challenge ourselves to achieve more.
The reason why we're here is to make a difference.
Everybody wants to stand out.
Without standing apart.
You belong
at Pittsburg State University.
Crawcan Telephone Cooperative has been serving Girard in southeast Kansas for 65 years. In 1952, we helped our members connect with each other using telephone lines. Today, we connect our members with the entire world using fiber optics. While the technology has changed, our commitment to deliver it to our members has not. Check us out on the web at ckt.net.